Chapter 1290. No problem. Yixian immediately summoned the old tree from the planting space. The old tree didn't have true energy and wasn't a bird, but it could grow a pair of wooden wings to fly. In less than a second, the 3 6th-level Fulfillment Realm experts were killed by the 2 magic treasures one after another. The Universe Ring also fell into Yixian's hands. Berserker tribe, send some capable fighters. The leisurely Yixian shouted at the sky. His voice was heard by everyone in the Berserker tribe. This was a provocation to the entire Berserker tribe. No one would dare to do this if they weren't strong enough. Naturally, the 7th-level Fulfillment Realm experts had to move. However, before they arrived, a lot of small fries rushed out. There were more than 100 of them, and they were ready to kill Yixian and the others. How dare you cause trouble in my Berserker tribe, human? Die. Surrender or you'll suffer. How many years has it been? Finally, a decent human has come. Kill. A group of people roared and charged toward Yixian. Noisy. Yixian finally couldn't hold back and summoned the double dragon sword bell. Then a dragon's roar spread. Buzz. In the blink of an eye, countless people fell from the sky. Other than a few 6th-level Fulfillment Realm experts, everyone else had fainted. Those with lower realms even had their heads blown apart. So strong. The scorpion men at the 6th level of the Fulfillment Realm swallowed a mouthful of saliva. However, 2 figures were already charging toward them from the left and right. Rip. Bang. Boom. After a few sounds, only Yixian and the others were left in the sky. However, the group below them wasn't completely dead yet. Fortunately, both the old tree and Megatron could attack groups. The former's body extended countless spikes, while the latter turned into an arrow tower and shot wildly. Ding. Host's killing intent has increased. Ding. Host's killing intent has increased. Ding. Host's killing intent has increased. Yixian was in a good mood when he heard the system notifications. Among these people, the weakest was at the 4th level of the Fulfillment Realm, and the stronger ones were at the 6th level of the Fulfillment Realm. With so many killing intent points added together, it was no less than the 7th level of the Fulfillment Realm. If I can exterminate all the scorpion men in the Desert of Despair, my killing intent value might reach the upper limit again. However, if I want to do that, I have to suppress my realm and not break through. Yixian thought to himself. The upper limit of killing intent would increase with the increase of devouring points in realm. Previously, Yixian had already exchanged for devouring points, so the upper limit of killing intent had increased by 1 level. However, the Desert of Despair was so big and there were thousands of tribes. As long as they all went there, not to mention 1, even 2 was possible. At the thought of this, Yixian's lips curled up slightly. What he lacked the most now was devouring points. If he had devouring points, his combat bloodline, physique bloodline, and support bloodline would be able to fuse and become stronger bloodlines. Just as he was fantasizing, several powerful scorpion men experts charged out of the Berserker tribe. 3 of them were at the 7th level of the Fulfillment Realm. Is the real deal here? Yixian's eyes flashed as he looked at the 3 scorpion men experts in front of him. These 3 scorpion men at the 7th level of the Fulfillment Realm were the 3 leaders of the Berserker tribe. Human, why have you come to our Berserker tribe? The middle-aged man in the lead questioned. Nothing. I just want to find the location of the Evil God Society and exterminate them. Yixian shrugged and said. What, you want to exterminate the Evil God Society? What kind of joke is this? A mere 5th level of the Fulfillment Realm dares to speak so arrogantly. He's dead for sure now. The 3 leaders are on the move. He's dead for sure. The followers of the Evil God outside were shouting and yelling. Not only that, the 3 7th level Fulfillment Realm leaders were burning with anger. They were the most loyal believers of the Evil God, so they naturally wouldn't let someone exterminate the Evil God Society go. Kill, leave no one alive. The scorpion man in the lead immediately shouted and charged toward Yixian. Although Yixian was only at the 5th level of the Fulfillment Realm, he felt that Yixian was perhaps the strongest of the 3. Come at me. Yixian shouted loudly as he directly used the Ice and Fire Twin Dragon Sword formation. The other 2 were left to the Old Tree and Wei Zhentian. These 4 were all at the 7th level of the Fulfillment Realm, but Yixian was very confident in Old Tree and Wei Zhentian. Boy, how dare you disrespect the Evil God! Die! The great leader of the Berserker tribe shouted. At the same time, The scorpion tail behind him shot a poisonous spike toward Yixian. Child's play. Yixian didn't care at all, and his eyes flashed. Eye of decomposition. The broken wing's poisonous spike wasn't big, only the size of an index finger, but the poison on it could paralyze a 6th-level fulfillment realm heaven-reaching beast. Unfortunately, the Eye of Decomposition likes small things like this. The poisonous spike was disintegrated by Yixian with a soft sound and disappeared. You're quite capable. Take this. The great leader of the Berserker tribe attacked again when he saw that his attack had failed. His weapons were 2 giant hammers, and every time he swung them down, they were magnified by the power of 10,000 mammoths. One hit was enough to heavily injure a 6th-level fulfillment realm heaven-reaching beast, let alone a 5th-level human like Yixian. However, this was only possible if the hammers hit Yixian. Shadow of the Imperial Wind Dragon. The 2 Yixians respectively displayed their growth ability, and easily dodged the 2 sledgehammers. Then they spat out dragon breaths from the left and right sides. Killing Intent Explosion. Twin Dragon Roar. This move could be considered Yixian's current strongest attack. Seeing this, the face of the Berserker tribe's great leader sank to the bottom. He didn't expect a 5th-level fulfillment realm human to be able to unleash such a powerful attack. Don't underestimate me. The great leader of the Berserker tribe didn't intend to retreat when he remembered that so many tribesmen were watching behind him. He wanted to defeat the Twin Dragon Roar. Skyquake Hammer. The great leader of the Berserker tribe raised the 2 giant hammers above his head, and used his true energy and power of 10,000 mammoths to form a square giant hammer shadow. Then he smashed it down. Boom! The giant hammer shadow and the Twin Dragon Roar collided, creating thousands of shockwaves. This move was the great leader of the Berserker tribe. It was a high-grade fulfillment divine ability, and the hammers were powerful to begin with. It actually blocked Yixian's attack. Unfortunately, Yixian could use his ultimate move whenever he wanted. He didn't need to worry about it at all. Killing Intent Explosion. Twin Dragon Roar. The 2 dragon breaths, 1 ice and 1 fire, merged to form an extremely powerful dragon breath. It broke through the shockwaves and blasted toward the great leader of the Berserker tribe. What? The great leader of the Berserker tribe was stunned. His reaction was clearly slower, and he was instantly hit by the Twin Dragon Roar. I'm impossible. I can't die from this attack. Chapter 1291. Fortunately, Berserker tribe's great leader still had many clansmen behind him. They all used the power of 10,000 mammoths on him. An instant later, the Twin Dragon Roar ended, and Berserker tribe's great leader barely survived. If it weren't for those clansmen, Berserker tribe's great leader would have died under that attack. However, this could only prolong his life for a short time. Twin Dragon Roar. Another wave of dragon breath erupted. This time, Berserker tribe's great leader had no chance of surviving. After being swallowed by the dragon breath, he died instantly. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. A system notification rang in Yixian's mind. 3 consecutive Twin Dragon Roars and 3 bursts of killing intent had consumed a lot of his true energy and killing intent. However, it was worth it to kill a 7th-level fulfillment realm expert. At this moment, Yixian glanced over from the corner of his eye and noticed that Wei Zhentian and Elder Shu hadn't finished their battle yet. His 5th level of the fulfillment realm was actually the fastest. Let me see how many good things you have as the great leader of Berserker tribe. Yixian used the power of 10,000 mammoths to grab Berserker tribe's great leader's universe ring and faith crystal. In comparison, Flying Sand City's City Lord Mansion was like a child in front of Berserker tribe. A total of 5 million prosperity pills, awesome. Yixian couldn't help but laugh. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is currently at the 6th level of the fulfillment realm. After consuming so many prosperity pills, Yixian finally heard the notification that he had leveled up. 6th level of the fulfillment realm. He opened another natal palace in his body, and his strength increased by several times. At this time, the group of Berserker tribe scorpion men in the distance were dumbfounded. Their great leader, an expert at the 7th level of the fulfillment realm, died at the hands of a human at the 5th level of the fulfillment realm. This was a challenge that surpassed their level and 2 levels at that. Now that the great leader is dead, I think the second and third leaders. What should we do? Should we attack together? Are you kidding me? Didn't you see that human had a breakthrough? If we charge, we'll die. But if we don't attack, we'll be massacred after the second and third leaders die. Go. When has the Berserker tribe ever cowered? Kill. Several scorpion men roared at the sky and led hundreds of experts toward Yi Xian. Another bunch who aren't afraid of death come. Yi Xian's fighting spirit was already burning. This time he was going to face hundreds of people by himself. Kill. Yi Xian was like an arrow that had left the bow. He suddenly shot out explosively, and wherever he passed someone would definitely fall. Although he didn't have a large group attack skill like the Sword Storm or the Berserk Python Sweep, no one was able to block Yi Xian's attack. Double Dragon Sword Bell. Twin Dragon Roar. Yi Xian was thousand dragons, thousand dragon thousand tribe. Boom! After a few dragon roars, the group of scorpion men experts all fainted. In the end, Yi Xian killed them one by one. The battle only lasted 3 seconds. In 3 seconds, Yi Xian had killed hundreds of Berserker tribe's experts. At the same time, Old Tree and Wei Zhentian's battle was coming to an end. After Yi Xian collected all the universe rings, faith crystals and corpses, Old Tree and Wei Zhentian finally finished off their opponents. The morale of the entire Berserker tribe fell to rock bottom. Right now, all of the Berserker tribe's experts were at the 3rd level of the Fulfillment Realm or lower. They were no match for Yi Xian, the 3 gods of slaughter. It's over, it's over. Berserker tribe is done for. The 3 leaders are dead. We're the only ones left. We're going to be swallowed up by the surrounding tribes. Forget about being swallowed up. We might not even survive today. Please save us, evil god. The Berserker tribe was filled with cries and shouts. However, Yi Xian didn't want to kill them. He didn't want to kill the old, the weak, the women and the children since he had already killed so many experts. However, when Yi Xian received the second and third leaders' universe rings, a figure suddenly appeared in the sky. Look, that's the Lord Apostle. The Lord Apostle of the evil god sect has come to save us. Ha ha ha, this human is dead for sure. The Lord Apostle will definitely avenge the leader. For a time, the Berserker tribe was in an uproar. When Yi Xian heard these voices, he subconsciously turned his head to look. He just so happened to see a scorpion man in a black robe quickly flying towards him. In the blink of an eye, he stepped into his perception range. An evil god apostle? Yi Xian narrowed his eyes. Traces of killing intent burst out of his eyes. Yesterday, he had encountered an evil god apostle. It was that scorpion Lu. Today there was another one. This evil god apostle definitely knew where the evil god society was. However, it wasn't that easy to control an evil god apostle. I must defeat and capture him. Then I will use the high-efficiency flower to ask him where the evil god society is. Yi Xian thought to himself. Previously he had the eye of control, so he didn't need to use the high-efficiency flower. However, this evil god apostle had the faith crystal in his head and couldn't be controlled. Therefore, he could only use special methods to interrogate him. Earlier, Yi Xian had already used the high-efficiency flower. This was still effective against the evil god apostle. However, it wouldn't be that easy to capture this evil god apostle, because this evil god apostle was at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. What's going on? The black-robed evil god apostle asked loudly as he got close to Lin Fan. Lord Apostle, this human killed the 3 leaders of our tribe and hundreds of experts. He even said that he would destroy the evil god society. Lord Apostle, please avenge us. Lord Apostle. A group of scorpions from the Berserker tribe shouted. This time the evil god apostle knew what happened. He turned to look at Yi Xian and said, "How dare you kill the evil god apostle in the evil god society's territory? Not only do I dare to kill the evil god apostle, even if the evil god was here, I would kill him without hesitation." Yi Xian looked as if he wasn't afraid of anything and started to fight with this evil god apostle. "How dare you? Since that's the case, I will capture you and offer you to the evil god as a sacrifice." The evil god apostle shouted angrily and attacked. "I think it's better to use insects as a sacrifice." Yi Xian also ridiculed and went to meet the evil god apostle. This evil god apostle was at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. His strength was not to be underestimated. He wasn't someone that Yixian could fight against right now. Chapter 1292. However, the storm of swords and serpent sweeps cooldown was less than a day. There were still 2 days before they could be used again. Hence Yixian had no choice but to join forces with the old tree and Wei Zhentian. Yixian had no choice but to equip the golden radiant armor for a battle of this level. Die! The fiend god apostle did not plan to fight for long. He condensed a giant scorpion tail with his true chi and manifestation force and swung it at Wei Zhentian. The whip was so fast that it landed on Wei Zhentian's body. Wei Zhentian's bones fell apart. But so what? Wei Zhentian was Yixian's first treasure. As long as the 3 Yixians did not die, Wei Zhentian would be undying. Wei Zhentian reappeared. What the hell is this? The fiend god apostle was surprised. One died and another appeared. No matter what, he had to kill. The fiend god apostle controlled the scorpion tail and swung it at Wei Zhentian. Wei Zhentian's bones fell apart and reappeared. This was already its 3rd life. Piercing strike. The old tree took advantage of the time when the fiend god apostle was attacking Wei Zhentian to launch his strongest attack. Petty tricks, you're going to die too. The fiend god apostle swung his tail and smashed the old tree into pieces. But in the next moment the old tree reappeared. What? The fiend god apostle was shocked. It was fine if Wei Zhentian was still alive, but why was the old tree still alive? Piercing strike. The old tree launched another attack. At the same time Yixian made his move. Twin dragon roar. Yixian, the old tree, and Wei Zhentian attacked at the same time. But the fiend god apostle's strength was beyond their expectations. With a single whip, all 3 attacks were destroyed. Wei Zhentian was smashed into pieces again. This was the 3rd time. So what if your attack is strong? Wei Zhentian is undying. Yixian's eyes flickered. He released Wei Zhentian again. This time the fiend god apostle knew where the problem was. So it's you, brat. I'll kill you first. The fiend god apostle's gaze fell on the 2 Yixian. Wei Zhentian and old tree were undying. Yixian. Humph, you found out. Yixian noticed the fiend god apostle's gaze. He could sense that this evil god apostle was much stronger than the average Fulfillment Realm 9th stage expert. If he had Bladestorm and Mad Python, he might have been able to take care of this evil god apostle. However, both skills were still on cooldown. It was unlikely that he could kill this evil god apostle anytime soon. Come. Yixian's eyes flickered twice as he put away the brilliant golden armor and quickly descended. 2. B. Dark Knight Canopy. Yixian used a skill of the God-slaying bloodline. In this environment his speed and combat strength increased. Brat, you do have some tricks up your sleeve. But do you think you can escape my spiritual sense? The fiend god apostle roared. Behind him, a long tail condensed from his vital energy and 10,000 mammoth force whipped down. Sand and stones flew everywhere, but it didn't hit Yixian. Fortunately, I activated Dark Knight Canopy. Otherwise, my doppelganger would have exploded. Yixian couldn't help but gulp. Under such circumstances, he knew he couldn't use the Ice and Fire Twin Dragon Sword Array. What if his doppelganger exploded because he wasn't fast enough? Combine! The 2 Yixian connected and combined into one. Their overall strength increased by 50%. Unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash. The combined Yixian wielded the Scarlet Flame Sword and slashed down. The flame dragon roared, but due to the difference in realm, the fiend god apostle blew it up again. Every time he attacks, he consumes vital energy. Let's see if your vital energy is limitless. Yixian didn't say anything else and directly turned around. This time his target was the battle-crazed tribe. In fact, he made a mistake just now. He didn't expect a 9th stage Fulfillment Realm evil god apostle to arrive. Otherwise, he would have started a slaughter feast before killing the great leader. That way, his combat strength would have at least doubled, and it would have been much easier to fight this evil god apostle. Unfortunately, fate always played tricks on people. But it didn't matter. On land, Yixian had a 90% increase in movement speed. Plus, the shadow of the Imperial Wind Dragon was a growth divine ability. The evil god apostle's attack couldn't hurt him. Moreover, Wei Zhentian and the old tree were constantly using their lives to deplete the evil god apostle's vital energy. Therefore, Yixian had a 90% chance of winning this battle. Of course, it would be best if nothing unexpected happened during this period, such as another evil god apostle. Seeing Yixian rush into the battle-crazed tribe, the evil god apostle roared, "Get out of my way!" Before he finished speaking, his giant scorpion tail whipped down, blasting a dozen or so scorpions from the battle-crazed tribe to pieces. In order to kill Yixian, this evil god apostle didn't hesitate to use any means. Although the battle-crazed tribe members were somewhat innocent, they still hated Yixian in their hearts. If they had the strength now, they would have definitely helped and joined forces with the evil god apostle to kill Yixian. Yixian originally thought that the evil god apostle would go easy on him because of these believers. He didn't expect the evil god apostle to be so vicious and kill his own people. It seemed that the plan had to be changed again. There are no more fourth-stage fulfillment realm experts in the battle-crazed tribe. If I start a slaughter feast, the effect will be too low. Yixian quickly thought in his heart. Since that was the case, he would go to the next tribe. "Kid, don't run!" The evil god apostle behind him shouted as he attacked. "Keep chasing if you have the guts," Yixian shouted, occasionally turning back to release the peerless flame dragon slash. In terms of speed, Yixian was not slower than this evil god apostle on land. If he could maintain this situation and drag it out until the next tribe, then this evil god apostle would be dead for sure. Where did this kid come from? This is not the speed that a sixth-stage fulfillment realm expert should have. The evil god apostle thought. Yixian saw his thoughtful expression and couldn't help but curse. "Big Scorpion, is your evil god a pig? If you worship him, will you slow down?" In order to maintain his hatred, he had to curse. Otherwise, what if this evil god apostle left midway? "How dare you curse the evil god? Even if I have to chase you for a year, I will kill you." The evil god apostle was provoked and began to attack wildly. Yixian was speechless. This hatred was really easy to attract. He just needed to curse and it would be enough. Chapter 1293. Your evil god must be a cripple. Oh, maybe he has long legs too. A 9th-level fulfillment realm cultivator can't even catch up to a 6th-level fulfillment realm cultivator like me. Why don't you just kill yourself? Do you want me to carve a walking stick for you? These words fell into the ears of the evil god apostle. He was so angry that he gritted his teeth. He wanted nothing more than to chase after Yixian and stab Yixian 1,000 holes with his scorpion tail. Soon, the duo was far away from the Berserker tribe. Yixian remembered that there was a slightly weaker tribe next to the Berserker tribe. It was said to be founded by the younger brother of the Berserker tribe's great leader. There were more than 1,000 people in that tribe, and they also had a 7th-level fulfillment realm expert. That was the place where the evil god apostle had fallen. It only took an hour to travel from the Berserker tribe to the 100 Battle tribe. Yixian did his best to weaken the evil god apostle during this time. However, judging from the evil god apostle's resentment and attack frequency, his true chi would be reduced by a third in an hour. When that happened, Yixian would have the chance to kill him. Of course, Yixian wouldn't have used up so much of his true chi if he lured the evil god apostle alone. Wei Zhenqian and the old tree also played a part in this. They were using their lives to wear down the evil god apostle. Damn it, what are this green heavenly dragon and the old tree? Why can't I kill them? The evil god apostle couldn't help but wonder as he chased after Yixian. Wei Zhenqian and the old tree had died 100 times in total. However, they couldn't die no matter how many times they revived. Although the evil god apostle didn't know why, he knew that it had something to do with Yixian. All he had to do was kill Yixian. However, he couldn't catch up with Wei Zhenqian and the old tree blocking his way. This kid's true chi seems to be inexhaustible. He can use it whenever he wants. What's his secret? The evil god apostle narrowed his eyes. Originally, he wanted to capture Yixian as a sacrifice, but after Yixian cursed the evil god, he wanted to kill Yixian to vent his anger. But now, he suddenly wanted to capture Yixian. This human had many secrets that the evil god would definitely be interested in. I don't believe that your true chi won't dry up. The evil god apostle decided to continue pursuing Yixian. Time slowly passed. Rumble. Somewhere in the desert of despair, a few figures were fighting. At this time, more than half an hour had passed. During this time, Yixian, the old tree, and Wei Zhenqian were constantly attacking the evil apostle behind them. This caused the evil apostle to be unable to catch up and could only defend himself. This kid's Zhenqi and natal Zhenqi seem to be inexhaustible. Could it be that he has a way to store Zhenqi? Along the way, the heretic god apostle racked his brains, but he couldn't come up with anything. Perhaps the evil god knew the reason, but how could he meet the evil god empty-handed? Right, there's 100 battle tribe up ahead. When the time comes, I can ask them to intercept this kid. The evil god apostle suddenly thought of this. Every evil god apostle had a territory in the Desert of Despair. He happened to be in charge of this area, so he was naturally familiar with the territories under his command. Coincidentally, Yixian was a human, so the evil god apostle guessed that Yixian didn't know this. But what he didn't know was that not only did Yixian know, but he also wanted to use the 100 battle tribe to kill him. Almost there. After a while, Yixian, who was acting as bait, thought to himself, it seemed that the time to kill this evil god apostle had come. This kid really did pass by the 100 battle tribe. Just in time, I'll capture you and present you to the Lord Evil God. The evil god apostle thought to himself. He narrowed his eyes and saw the 100 battle tribe up ahead. Evil god apostle Xiefeng, 100 battle tribe members, come out and welcome me. The evil god apostle shouted to the sky. Using his vital energy to spread his voice was much faster than the speed. In an instant, everyone in the 100 battle tribe heard it. What, the Lord Apostle is here? Quick, go out and welcome him. Haha, maybe he came to our 100 battle tribe to choose people to serve the evil god. The 100 battle tribe was instantly in an uproar. They rushed out in the direction of the voice and saw Yixian and the other two quickly approaching, as well as the evil god apostle Xiefeng. Seeing so many people rushing out, Yixian's lips curled up slightly. This evil god apostle really helped him a lot. Old tree Weizhentian Luoluo, are you ready? Yixian asked in his mind. Sai, we've died hundreds of times already. We're ready. Young master, kill this evil god apostle. Old tree replied. Young master, this evil god apostle has been chasing you for so long, kill him. Luoluo said angrily in the planting space. All right, everyone get ready. Yixian nodded. At this time the evil god apostle behind him shouted again. 100 battle tribe, help me capture this evil god sacrifice. There will be great rewards. When these words entered the ears of the 100 battle tribe's experts, their fighting spirit boiled. The evil god apostle was asking for their help to capture an evil god sacrifice. Kill. Instantly, this group of people charged at Yixian with bloodshot eyes. Yixian quickly scanned with his eye of revelation, and found that only a dozen people in the 100 battle tribe had faith crystals in their heads. It seemed that they were the first batch of believers. When the evil god cult first started to spread, faith crystals were not easy to obtain, so they planted some in each tribe first. As the faith crystals were mass-produced, they were added one by one. This territory belonged to Xiefeng. This time he came out with tens of thousands of faith crystals, preparing to convert everyone in the territory into evil god followers. This 100 battle tribe was one of his destinations. Haha, Xiefeng, you're finished. Yixian couldn't help but laugh a few times, and activated a skill, Killing Feast. At the same time, Luoluo suddenly appeared between him and the 100 battle tribe army. Let me show you my power. With the help of the purified faith crystals, Luoluo had broken through to the 5th level of the fulfillment realm. At this time she muttered a sentence, and an eye of enchantment appeared above her head. In the blink of an eye, dozens of people were charmed, and almost all of them were 5th level fulfillment realm experts. Then, this group of 5th level fulfillment realm experts suddenly attacked the people around them. After a wave of attacks, dozens of 100 battle tribe experts fell from the sky. You charmed so many people at once? The evil god apostle was stunned. He had heard of the Eye of Enchantment before, but he didn't expect it to be so powerful. At the same time he was shocked. Where did Yixian find this fox lowly? But this wasn't the end. Chapter 1294. Eye of Control. Eye of Control. Eye of Control. After specially devouring 2 eyes of myriad forms, Yixian's heavenly eye had advanced once, and its effect had increased once again. Now it could control a total of 30 people. Moreover, he was at the 6th level of the fulfillment realm, so controlling others of the same level was not a problem. However, the 6th level of the Fulfillment Realm Scorpion Men were the first batch of disciples, so Yixian could only control the 5th level of the Fulfillment Realm. If Luo Luo was included, the two of them could control almost all of the 5th level of the Fulfillment Realm experts of the 100 Wars tribe. Boom! 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 Amidst the 100 Battles tribe's crowd, a reign of terror was set off. Quick, kill them. Don't show mercy. The leader of the 100 Wars tribe shouted. He knew that his tribesmen were controlled by the enemy and had to be killed. At this time, Yixian had already received hundreds of system notifications. The Killing Feast's buff had increased to 50%. This meant that Yixian's combat power was now 1.5 times stronger than before. If I kill them all, the buff will increase by at least 2 times. Yixian suddenly sped up and rushed into the crowd of 100 Wars tribe. The two 6th level Fulfillment Realm experts, Old Tree and Wei Zhentian, followed closely behind. Killing Intent Explosion. Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. A flame dragon flew out and attacked the 7th level Fulfillment Realm leader of 100 Wars tribe. The leader of 100 Wars tribe thought that the evil god apostles were after Wei Zhentian and Old Tree, so he did not pay much attention to Yixian. However, he did not expect that Yixian, who was at the 6th level of the Fulfillment Realm, was probably the strongest of the group. In an instant, he was devoured by the flame dragon and turned to ash. Ding, the host's killing intent has increased. A system notification sounded. The leader of 100 Wars tribe increased the buff of the Killing Feast by 20%. If one person increased the buff by 20%, then 10 of them would increase Yixian's strength by 2 times and triple his combat power. Previously, Yixian had given Wei Zhentian and the others the order to kill all of them. After they charged into the 100 Battles tribe's army, they went all out. Including the dozens of 5th and 4th level Fulfillment Realm experts, the upper echelons of the 100 Wars tribe were all dead in just 2 to 3 seconds. Although so many people had died, Scorpion Wind was not sad at all. He only had one goal, and that was to capture Yixian. It just so happened that these people were holding back Yixian. Brat, you're dead. Xiefeng gathered all his strength and rushed to Yixian. I'm not the one who died. Yixian widened his eyes. His aura surged once again because all the people he and Luoluo had controlled had committed suicide. At this moment, Yixian's buff had exactly doubled, which meant that he could exhibit twice as much combat power. Boom! Yixian and Xiefeng clashed at close range. Their lifeblood true energies collided and exploded into an unprecedented shockwave. Even Luoluo was swept away. An hour ago, Yixian's attacks had been easily defeated by Xiefeng. But now Yixian could actually fight Xiefeng head-on. This change gave Wind Scorpion a fright. How did this brat's strength nearly double? Xiefeng found it hard to believe. A bad feeling suddenly rose in his heart, and he smelled danger from Yixian. He'd originally planned to capture Yixian, but Yixian's strength had suddenly skyrocketed. That was why he'd attacked with all his strength. If he hadn't, he probably would have been sent flying. Brat, I don't care what you've done. I'm going to capture you and offer you to the demon god. Xiefeng's eyes flashed. The scorpion tail behind him shot out and stabbed at Yixian. The tail needles of the scorpion men were either lethal or paralyzing. There were only 2 kinds. But in comparison, paralyzing poison was much more useful than lethal poison. The poison took effect faster, and as long as the opponent was paralyzed, he could decide whether to kill them or cut them up. Yixian had seen Xiefeng's poisonous needles before. Those were dangerous things that had turned the old tree into ashes. That was why Yixian had been paying special attention to them from the start. You think I can fight with just my hands? Yixian sneered, his eyes suddenly flashing. Disintegration Eye. BZZT. 2 disintegration rays accurately shot at the tail needles, disintegrating them instantly, along with a section of the scorpion tail. What? Xiefeng was shocked. If not for the pain in his brain, he would have thought his eyes were playing tricks on him. The tail of the scorpion men was the most difficult part to recover, especially the tail needles. I'll kill you. Scorpion Feng was enraged. A powerful Wanxiang force suddenly surged out and directly smashed onto Yixian's body. Bang! Yixian spat out a mouthful of blood and was instantly sent flying. But before that, his eyes flashed again. Eye of Nirvana! Whoosh! A Nirvana cut through the air. Xiefeng was shocked and dodged. Rip! With a crisp sound, Xiefeng's left arm was chopped off. He didn't expect that after suffering once, he would actually suffer a second time. But now wasn't the time to care about that. It didn't matter that he had suffered twice. What mattered was whether he would suffer again in the future. I only have 1/3 of my genuine qi left, but this kid seems to have endless genuine qi. I'm afraid Xiefeng's brain spun quickly. At this moment he suddenly had the thought of retreating. Where there's life, there's life. His life was in danger today. He might as well take revenge another day. Let's go. Xiefeng quickly turned around. He was at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm, and yet he was forced to retreat by Yixian, who was at the 6th level of the fulfillment realm. It was humiliating. However, when he turned around he saw two figures. They were the old tree and Wei Zhentian. You think you can stop me? Xiefeng sneered. Then try this. Yixian suddenly split into two. Two heavenly dragons of ice and fire appeared and spat out their dragon breaths at the same time. Twin dragon roar. Xiefeng had easily defeated Yixian's previous attack, but now that Xiefeng wasn't at his peak, and Yixian was twice as strong as before, Yixian didn't think it would be easy to withstand this attack. So powerful. Xiefeng's expression darkened. He knew that he couldn't withstand this attack in his current state, but there was another kind of power inside his body. Hum. A slight sound was heard. The faith crystal in Wind Scorpion's mind suddenly trembled. Boom! The twin dragons roared and approached. Xiefeng didn't move and was devoured. However, Yixian didn't hear the system notification. This meant that Xiefeng wasn't dead. Chapter 1295. He's not blocking or dodging. He's still alive even after being hit. What trump card did Wind Scorpion use? Yixian furrowed his brow as he pondered quickly. He had estimated that Wind Scorpion wouldn't be able to withstand the dual dragon roar. But he did. It seemed that he had used some sort of trick. Yixian hurriedly used his eye of insight to take a look. He discovered that a protective membrane had actually appeared outside of the Scorpion Wind's body. It was precisely because of this protective membrane that Yixian was safe and sound. What's this? Yixian sized him up with narrowed eyes. As it turned out, this protective barrier was formed from the faith crystal in Wind Scorpion's mind. Soon the dual dragon roar stopped. Wind Scorpion didn't die from the attack. Thank goodness we both have a strand of the evil god's will, or I would have died. Wind Scorpion sighed in relief. But when he turned around, he heard the sound of something breaking through the air behind him. Gotcha! Wei Zhentian and Old Tree combined into a tough armor that covered Wind Scorpion's body. What? Wind Scorpion didn't notice that his consciousness was completely blocked when he was swallowed by the dual dragon roar. Get lost. Furious, Wind Scorpion circulated his true qi and shook it. Bam! The armor formed by Wei Zhentian and Old Tree had 2 layers of protection. Wind Scorpion's lifeblood true qi and 10,000 mammoths' power couldn't shake it off even once. He couldn't even move. His true qi was completely blocked. Die! In the distance, Yixian had already gathered a second wave of true qi. As the 2 heavenly dragons opened their mouths, another dual dragon roar roared out. Boom! This time, Wind Scorpion couldn't block it and was instantly swallowed. Of course, Wei Zhentian and Old Tree had unlocked the armor before this, exposing Wind Scorpion's front so that he could take the full brunt of the attack. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Finally, the system's notification rang, proving that Wind Scorpion was really dead this time. It's not easy to kill a 9th level fulfillment realm cultivator. Yixian sighed in his heart. Sigh, this old man has lived for so long, but this is the first time I've been accidentally killed by my own people. It's also the first time I've died hundreds of times in one day. The old tree's voice rang in Yixian's mind. The old tree and Wei Zhentian, who had been refined into magic treasures, would instantly repair their bodies in the artifact space every time they died. This time, in order to let Yixian kill Scorpion Wind, the Old Tree and Wei Zhentian both volunteered to go up. However, Old Tree and Wei Zhentian had been killed by Scorpion Wind several hundred times before coming here, so this wasn't a big deal. Thank you, Old Tree. Yixian hurriedly expressed his gratitude. Then he used the power of all creations to retrieve Wind Scorpion's Faith Crystal and Cosmos Ring. This piece of Faith Crystal was the largest piece that Yixian had ever seen. It was even bigger than the Berserker tribe's leader. It was estimated that its value was not low. However, compared to the faith crystal in the interspatial ring, it was simply not worth mentioning. Holy shit! More than 20,000 faith crystals. Yixian jumped in fright. This vote was more than the faith crystals he had received before. With these faith crystals, I can at least reach the 8th level of the fulfillment realm. Luoluo said. Alright, take it and purify it slowly. Since only Luoluo could absorb the faith crystals, Yixian threw all of them to Luoluo. Next, it was time to examine the evil god apostle's interspatial ring. To Yixian's surprise, the interspatial ring contained a large amount of ores. Ding Weizhentian has broken through. He is currently at the 8th level of the fulfillment realm. Yixian consumed these ores without hesitation. Then Weizhentian broke through first and reached the 8th level of the fulfillment realm. What's going on? Why does this evil god apostle have so many ores? Is he trying to forge something? Yixian was very surprised. Then, he found another item in the interspatial ring. It was a map. There was only one mark on this map. It was in the shape of a round table. However, the remark next to the mark caused Yixian to tremble. The evil god's altar? Yixian murmured and guessed. Are these ores to be used to forge the evil god's altar? When he thought up to this point, Yixian hurriedly asked Luoluo, who had inherited memories. The evil god's altar? Luoluo thought for a moment and then answered. The evil god is the ancestor of the Scorpion Man race. However, the evil god cult was destroyed last time, so the power of faith was lost. Now that the evil god has reappeared, he can mass-produce the evil god's faith crystals as long as this altar is built. Not only that, the believers can come to this evil god's altar to worship and contribute their power of faith to the evil god. They can then obtain strength feedback. She explained very clearly. Yixian and Old Tree understood immediately. This means that the evil god's altar hasn't been built yet. Yixian narrowed his eyes and began to think. Oh, that's right. The evil gods can only descend after the evil god's altar is built. At that time there may be a person who carries the evil god's will. Luoluo suddenly said. Is the evil god's will just a remnant thought? Yixian frowned and asked. Yes. Although I don't know what realm the evil god is at, he can easily create countless remnant thoughts. However, there's no need to worry now because even if it's just a remnant thought, not just anyone can carry it. Unless the person's realm is high, they have to find a specific physique. Luoluo continued. Yixian could understand this. If a remnant of the evil god's will was separated and carried by a manifestation realm martial practitioner, the manifestation realm martial practitioner's soul would be instantly obliterated. The martial practitioner might even explode and die. Simply put, the carrier's realm couldn't be too low. Let's not talk about this for now. Right now, the evil god cult in the Desert of Despair wants to build the evil god's altar. If they succeed, the evil god cult will expand in this area, and it will be very disadvantageous to the surrounding forces. Yixian didn't care so much for the time being. He wasn't a saint and those people's lives had nothing to do with him. However, he needed the evil god cult's faith crystal, so he had to go and take a look. Most importantly, the direction of the evil god's altar seemed to be the same as the Xianming duo. Moreover, the distance was about the same. Xianming duo, I finally found you. Yixian couldn't help but smile. He never thought that there would be such a coincidence in this world. He was thinking, could the Xianming duo be helping the evil god cult build the evil god's altar? No matter what, Yixian had found a clue. The evil god's altar was very important to the evil god cult, so the evil god cult should be there. Therefore, his next target was the evil god's altar. With my speed, I'll need at least 2 days to get there. This is just right. The cooldown of Bladestorm and Wild Python's sweep will be over. Chapter 1296. Yixian would only dare to go to the evil god's altar when his 2 trump cards, Bladestorm and Wild Python, were off cooldown. After all, if an evil god apostle was at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm, then the evil god cult leader in the Desert of Despair must be at the 4th level of the piercing realm, the fragmentation realm. The fulfillment realm opened 9 natal palaces and condensed one's natal true energy. The fragmentation realm shattered all 9 natal palaces and used their natal true energy to strengthen their physique. The 1st level of the fragmentation realm shattered 1 natal palace, the 2nd level shattered 2 natal palaces, and the 9th level shattered all 9 natal palaces. The gap between the realms was huge. I'm only at the 6th level of the fulfillment realm. I'm afraid I'll be instantly killed by a fragmentation realm expert. That's why I must reach the 7th level of the fulfillment realm or even the 8th level before going to the evil god's altar. Yi Xian thought to himself. Fortunately, it would take at least 2 days to reach the evil god's altar from here. It wouldn't be a problem for him to reach the 7th level of the fulfillment realm in 2 days. Yi Xian glanced at the group of scorpion men from the 100 War tribe who were shocked to the point of losing their souls, then directly flew into the distance. Under normal circumstances, Yi Xian didn't want to attack the old, weak women and children. Yi Xian had finally found a clue to the Dark Nether duo demons, so he naturally had to follow quickly. Otherwise, there would be no end to the trouble. They could make Yi Xian unable to move with a single order. The evil god's altar was to be built in a dangerous place in the Desert of Despair. This dangerous place was called the Valley of Despair, and there were many dangerous heaven-piercing beasts there. However, since the evil god cult wanted to build the evil god's altar there, they naturally had to kill or drive away those heaven-piercing beasts. On the way to the Valley of Despair, Yi Xian intentionally searched for the Scorpion Men tribes. Some of these Scorpion Men tribes only had the upper echelons become believers, while some were full of evil god cult members. Yi Xian didn't show the slightest bit of mercy towards these people from the evil god society because he'd heard some things about the evil god society from Luo Luo. The evil god cult was very terrifying once they spread, because they captured people wantonly and then forcibly planted faith crystals. This method was a little similar to Yi Xian's Eye of Control. Previously, he had used the Eye of Control to make the controlled person lure others out. However, Yi Xian was only one person, so the effect was much worse than that of the evil god cult. Moreover, the evil god cult members would annihilate the entire tribe and the entire sect if they heard anyone say anything bad about the evil god. Very quickly, a day after Yi Xian rushed to the evil god's altar, he finally broke through to the 7th level of the fulfillment realm. At the same time, Luo Luo and Elder Shu had also broken through. The former had broken through to the 7th level of the fulfillment realm, and the latter had broken through to the 8th level of the fulfillment realm just like Wei Zhentian. Yi Xian was practically invincible in the fulfillment realm, but he wasn't confident in dealing with a fragmentation realm cultivator. After another day, Yi Xian finally arrived at the vicinity of the evil god's altar, the Wall of Despair. He didn't dare to get any closer because there were people all around him. Ooh! Yi Xian couldn't help but be speechless. Yi Xian saw a lot of evil god apostles with the Eye of Revelation. They were all at least at the 8th level of the fulfillment realm, and there were many at the 9th level. There were more than 300 of them, and at least 50 of them were at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. At the same time, Yi Xian also saw a few people that even he couldn't see through. Fragmentation realm. Fragmentation realm as expected. Yi Xian swallowed his saliva as he hid in a dark corner and observed. He looked around and calculated that there were about 4 fragmentation realm experts. There was also a black-robed man who looked even stronger. It seemed that this black-robed man was the Pope. However, Yi Xian wasn't most concerned about the evil god cult right now. The Xianming duo demons are under the evil god's altar. Yi Xian saw the bloody word kill. He thought that the Xianming duo demons were helping the evil god cult, but now it seemed that they were captured and sacrificed to the evil god. The Xianming duo demons were suppressed by the altar. Yi Xian couldn't use the Eye of Assassination to teleport them down. Even if he couldn't come out. I don't have a random mission now. Killing the Xianming duo demons is just fulfilling my promise to Mo Shui. Yi Xian suddenly thought of this. His plan was to destroy the evil god cult first, then kill the Xianming duo demons to settle a knot in his heart. However, at this moment, the sound of a system notification suddenly rang out. Ding! Host has triggered a random mission. Destroy the evil god's altar before it's completed. Countdown to completion of the evil god's altar. 1 day and 3 hours. This random mission shocked Yi Xian. Destroy the evil god's altar in 1 day? That was too difficult. Yi Xian clenched his teeth as he pondered in his heart. With our current strength, if we were to kill our way out, we wouldn't even be able to deal with these evil god apostles. Unless those few fragmentation realm experts aren't here. If they couldn't even deal with these evil gods apostles, how could they deal with those fragmentation realm experts? Destroying the evil god's altar was a fantasy mission. However, since this random mission appeared, It meant that he had a chance of completing it. Wait. At this time, Yixian suddenly thought of something. The evil god's altar had a countdown of 1 day and 3 hours. If he went to disturb it, the construction speed would slow down, and then the construction time would increase. I see. Thinking of this, Yixian's lips curled up slightly. He had completed many random missions, but at the same time he had also failed a few. But every time he had to complete a random mission, he was determined to complete this evil god's altar mission. The sky is going to darken soon. This is beneficial to me. Yixian had the god-slaying bloodline, and the assassination status of the god-slaying bloodline was very useful. It gave Yixian a powerful concealment skill, and even increased his movement speed and combat strength under the cover of night. It was a divine skill. But at this time he suddenly thought of another problem. Why didn't the random mission mention the reward this time? Could it be that the reward for completing this random mission is not fixed, and will change according to the time I complete it? If I can destroy the evil god's altar in 1 hit, then I can get the best reward. Yixian's heart skipped a beat, and he immediately understood. Now he didn't dare to hesitate and immediately sneaked over. At the same time he quickly formulated a plan in his mind. This environment was very suitable for assassination. If there was a bait, then it would be even better. As for the bait, it was naturally the 2 undying treasures, Wei Zhentian and the old tree. Haha, this evil god's altar is so big. If you devour it, young master, you might be able to break through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. The old tree laughed in his mind. Old tree, I'll have to trouble you to be the bait later. Chapter 1297. It doesn't matter. I've already gotten used to it. If we can take down the evil god altar, the little girl might be able to obtain a large amount of faith crystals and break through to the fragmentation realm. Old Tree said. Indeed, this battle was extremely important. Therefore, Yixian had to be fully prepared. Otherwise, it would be troublesome if a fragmentation realm expert appeared. The time after the random mission was decreasing bit by bit. This time would change according to the changes in reality. For example, during the construction of the evil god altar, if a 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle suddenly broke through to the fragmentation realm, the construction speed would be greatly reduced. After all, after the evil god apostle broke through, the construction speed of the evil god altar would increase. As for the time required to complete the random mission, Yixian had already noted it down. At this time several seconds had already passed. For the sake of convenience, I will first locate the 4 directions of the evil god altar and weaken their strength bit by bit. Yixian thought inwardly. He began to circle around the evil god altar, and left a location in the void. The current eye of the void could locate a total of 6 locations. The evil god altar had to refresh 4 locations. The last location was 1 hour away from the evil god altar. Yixian set that location as a safety precaution. A few minutes later, Yixian successfully located the location. Then the next step was to start the operation. Old Tree, I'll have to trouble you, Yixian said to Old Tree. No problem. Wei Zhentian, follow me. Old Tree nodded and then left with Wei Zhentian. Yixian, on the other hand, fled into the darkness. Rumble. Soon, a series of rumbling sounds came from not far away. This was the sound of Old Tree and Wei Zhentian fighting. The commotion attracted the attention of the group of evil god apostles who were building the evil god altar. I reckon that some of them slipped through the net. You guys go and take a look. A 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle said to a few 8th level fulfillment realm evil god apostles around him. The fish that escaped the net he was referring to were the heaven-reaching beasts in the wall valley of despair. Before they built the evil god altar, they had killed or driven away all the heaven-reaching beasts in the wall valley of the evil god. Yes. In an instant 3 fiend god apostles left the fiend god altar and flew over. The Old Tree and Wei Zhentian were still moving, attracting the attention of these 3 people. However, what the 3 of them did not know was that danger was quietly approaching them. When they were some distance away from the evil god altar, Yixian, who was hiding in the darkness, suddenly made his move. Rip! 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 3 crisp sounds rang in the air as Yixian beheaded all 3 8th level fulfillment realm evil god apostles. Triple kill. After that, the Old Tree and Wei Zhentian stopped for the time being. Yixian quickly collected the corpse and the universe ring. Then, he glanced at the mission panel. These 3 people died, but the construction of the evil god's altar was not delayed? Yi Xian was shocked. He thought about it for a moment. It seemed that these 3 people had not contributed to the construction of the evil god altar. Or rather, there was too much manpower for the construction of the evil god altar. Old Tree Wei Zhentian, you two continue, Yi Xian said in his mind. At the evil god altar. Why is it not done yet? You guys go and take a look. The 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle ordered a few more apostles to go over. He guessed that the 9th level fulfillment realm heaven-reaching beast was the cause. Very soon, 4 more 8th level fulfillment realm evil god apostles flew over. However, they were all killed by Yi Xian not long after. At this time a minute had passed. Yi Xian had killed 7 8th level fulfillment realm evil god apostles. But he was unable to delay the construction of the evil god altar. The 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle was surprised when he saw that the 7 of them had not returned. He decided to take action himself. That 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle is coming. Old Tree Wei Zhentian, stay away. Yi Xian hurriedly reminded them. He could kill an 8th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle without being discovered. However, it was not that easy to kill a 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle. It would be bad if he was exposed. Therefore, he had to keep a distance even if it would waste some time. After Old Tree and Wei Zhentian received the order, they fought and ran at the same time. The 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle focused on the direction of the sound and let down his guard. Yi Xian calculated the distance and then sneaked over. Eye of Glory. Killing intent eruption. Twin dragon roar. Suddenly, the sound of wind appeared. What? The 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle was shocked. He turned his head and was shocked. He could not block this power. Fortunately, he had a life-saving skill. With the Eye of Revelation, Yi Xian saw the faith crystal in his target's mind tremble violently. Then, a strange energy enveloped his target. Boom! The twin dragon roar devoured the 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle, but could not hurt him. However, even if he could block it once, could he block it a second time? When the twin dragon roar stopped, Yi Xian happened to gather a second batch of vital energy. At the same time, the Old Tree and Wei Zhentian were recalled by Yi Xian and appeared next to the 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle. Crack! Before the evil god apostle could react, they turned into 2 layers of shackles and trapped him. Killing intent eruption. Twin dragon roar. This attack killed 3 people. Wei Zhentian and the Old Tree died to this attack again. They were accidentally killed by Yi Xian a second time. However, the moment they died, they were reborn in the artifact space. This time, the commotion was bigger, so Yi Xian hurriedly put away the items and slipped into the darkness. 9th level fulfillment realm is the 9th level fulfillment realm. There are still a lot of ores and materials in the universe ring. A few more attacks and Wei Zhentian will be able to break through to the 9th level fulfillment realm. Yi Xian narrowed his eyes and thought as he moved. If Wei Zhentian broke through to the 9th level fulfillment realm, he would have a higher chance of winning against a fragmentation realm expert. At the same time, after the 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle died, Yi Xian quickly glanced at the quest panel and found that the time on it had finally been extended. There were hundreds of 8th level fulfillment realm evil god apostles, and only 59th level fulfillment realm evil god apostles. Now that one of them was dead, the construction of the evil god altar would naturally slow down. If I kill all the evil god cult members, then the construction time will be extended indefinitely. I wonder how much longer it will take if I kill a fragmentation realm expert. Yi Xian continued to think. The current random quest had a total of 2 times. The first was the construction time of the evil god altar. This could change. It could be faster or longer. Chapter 1298. Yi Xian had caused a huge commotion just now. Someone at the evil god altar must have noticed it, so this time Yi Xian wanted to change the angle. The evil god altar was very big, and there were all kinds of patterns on it. The evil god cult would need to kill a lot of sacrifices, hang up their blood, and then set up a formation. The blood would flow to the blood pool at the center of the evil god altar, and inside the blood pool was a statue of the evil god. Of course, the statue of the evil god was still under construction. In short, Yi Xian had to kill these evil god apostles to delay the construction time. Yixian went along the evil god altar to another corner, and then used the same method as before. He first made some noise to lure the evil god apostles over, and then killed them one by one. Earlier, Yixian had divided the evil god altar into 4 big areas, and each big area had 3 corners. There were a total of 12 corners, and it was a bit like a clock. Just now he was at the 6 o'clock direction, but this time he directly skipped the 5 o'clock direction and came to the 4 o'clock direction corner, just in case. Rumble. Wei Zhentian and Old Tree were fighting one-on-one, and the commotion here attracted the attention of the evil god apostles on the evil god altar. With his current strength, as long as he didn't encounter a fragmentation realm expert, then he wouldn't be a threat. As long as he had another breakthrough, he was confident that he could deal with a fragmentation realm expert. Soon, the 4 o'clock direction of the evil god altar was cleared out by Yixian. There was a 9th stage fulfillment realm evil god apostles, and 6 8th stage fulfillment realm evil god apostles. These people were just a hair from 9 oxen compared to the total number of people on the altar, so they wouldn't attract the attention of others for the time being. After clearing out the 4 o'clock direction, Yixian skipped the 3 o'clock and came to the 2 o'clock direction. Then, he used the same method to deal with the evil god apostles on this side of the altar. I've dealt with 3 batches in total, and finally delayed the construction for an hour. Yixian thought to himself. He spent 15 minutes to kill 3 9th stage fulfillment realm evil god apostles and 28th stage fulfillment realm evil god apostles, and successfully delayed the construction of the evil god altar to 1 day and 4 hours. Although it seemed like there was plenty of time, don't forget that the reward was calculated from the moment the random quest was accepted. The reward would become worse and worse as time passed. In order to obtain a better reward, Yixian didn't want to be negligent for even a moment. 12 o'clock direction. Yixian continued to move. This was his 4th target. In A's evil god altars 12 o'clock, and Yixian's. Yixian thought. And. Of Yi. Of course Yi of him. If he. And Yi god. And Yi. And Yi. 8. Zai Yi. S. 2 to be. It wasn't impossible to destroy the evil god altar in 1 day. After the 12 o'clock direction was cleared, Yixian quickly went to the 10 o'clock direction and continued. However, in another corner of the evil god's altar, someone discovered something amiss. Strange. Where did the people go? A scorpion man wearing black clothes said with a frown. The evil god altar was so important that even he didn't dare to neglect it. Yet, there were people who dared to slack off. They were courting death. He immediately rushed out, wanting to find those slackers and give them a good scolding. However, when he reached the outside, he scanned the area with his spiritual sense and found a trace of blood. This is the blood of my scorpion man race. Someone was killed. The scorpion man elder's eyes flashed. He quickly looked to the sky and shouted, "Everyone be careful. There may be powerful heaven-reaching beasts around. They are suspected to be in the fragmentation realm." Logically speaking, the heaven-reaching beasts in the Wall Valley of Despair should have been killed or driven away by them. However, now that there were casualties, his first reaction was still the heaven-reaching beasts. After all, they didn't spend too much effort to search the entire Wall Valley of Despair. His voice spread throughout the entire evil god altar, and entered everyone's ears. At the same time, Yixian, who was hiding in the darkness, also heard it. They found out that we're short of people? Yixian raised his eyebrows. At this time, he just finished clearing the people in the 10 o'clock direction. If he had 5 more minutes, Wei Zhentian would be able to break through to the fulfillment realm. However, to be safe, he decided to hide for a while because the evil god altar in front of him seemed to be causing a ruckus. There are fragmentation realm heaven-reaching beasts in the Wall Valley of Despair. How unexpected. It seems that they are starting to fight back because we invaded their territory. Don't worry. We have 4 enforcers patrolling the area and an elder in the center. These heaven-reaching beasts won't dare to come in. If they come in, they will be sacrificed to the evil god. The evil god apostles chatted as they worked. At the same time, they were more cautious than before. At this time, outside the evil god altar, A fragmentation realm expert has started patrolling. Let's stay away for now. Yi Xian thought in his heart as he quickly retreated into the distance. After patrolling the evil god's altar for a week, that fragmentation realm expert once again returned to work. He believed that the shout just now had scared off that heaven-reaching beast. After all, heaven-reaching beasts were also intelligent. About 5 minutes later, Yi Xian continued to approach. Wei Zhentian can break through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm after clearing 2 more corners. I still need to clear more than half of the area before I can break through to the 8th level of the fulfillment realm. Yi Xian's eyes flashed and he moved again. Boom boom boom. Wei Zhentian and Old Tree started fighting again. The sound reached the evil god altar. The heaven-reaching beasts are here again? They really won't give up. Let's go together. With Lord Xiechong leading us, what can a fragmentation realm heaven-reaching beast do? A group of evil god apostles moved toward the direction of the sound. The 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle was called Xiechong. His realm was infinitely close to the fragmentation realm, and his strength was ranked in the top 10 among the 9th level fulfillment realm experts. The group was planning to kill the heaven-reaching beast together, and then return to claim the credit. However, they didn't expect that it wasn't the heaven-reaching beast that was causing trouble, but a human. 7 8th level fulfillment realm experts, and 1 9th level fulfillment realm expert. Seems that I can't kill them in one hit. Yi Xian scanned with his eye of revelation and immediately saw through the enemy's strength. Previously, the enemy had only sent 3 or 4 people to deliver benefits. It was the first time that an entire squad had come. Well, since they've been exposed, then so be it. I have the Eye of the Void anyway. Chapter 1299. Eye of Glory. Killing Intent Explosion. Twin Dragon Roar. The 7 8th level fulfillment realm evil god apostles were gathered together. Yi Xian's attack was aimed at them. The 7 reacted quickly, but the Twin Dragon Roar was even faster. It engulfed the 8 of them in an instant. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. 7 system notifications rang in a row, proving that the 7 were instantly killed by Yi Xian. What? Xiechong was shocked. He immediately raised his hand and attacked Yi Xian. Whoosh! His sword pierced through the air, but Yi Xian easily blocked it. Kid, where are you looking at? At this time, an old voice suddenly entered Xiechong's ears, causing his body to tremble. Although he was very close to the fragmentation realm, he was still in the same realm. By the time he turned around, a thick branch had already pierced through his heart. However, before he died, he circulated his true energy and let out a sharp hiss. Hiss! This hiss spread throughout the evil god altar, causing everyone to tremble. This was the language of the Scorpion Men. It meant that there was someone exposed. Let's go. Yi Xian did not say anything. He directly took Xiechong's body and the universe ring. Then he broke through the void and left. He was currently at the 6 o'clock position of the evil god altar. This time, he broke through the void and was teleported to the 12 o'clock position, which was right on the opposite side. While the evil god apostles were distracted, he would sneak up on them from behind and kill them before they could react. Wei Zhentian is about to break through. Let's do it again. Yi Xian's confidence suddenly exploded. After he came out of the Eye of the Void, he directly led Wei Zhentian and the old tree toward the evil god altar. Previously, he had been cleaning up in a corner. However, after the people in the outer circle disappeared, the people in the inner circle took over. At the 12 o'clock position, there were 2 9th level fulfillment realm apostles and 8 8th level fulfillment realm apostles. If I kill you all, Wei Zhentian will be able to break through. This time Yi Xian mustered up all his energy and directly charged towards the evil god altar. The evil god's altar was made of a special material that resembled bronze. Furthermore, it emitted a faint glow. With such a large area glowing without a single shadow, this meant that the passive effect of Yi Xian's assassination mode would be nullified. But so what? Killing Intent Explosion. Twin Dragon Roar. The 2 Yi Xian were clad in golden armor. They formed 2 heavenly dragons and opened their mouths. The 2 dragon auras fused together to form an extremely powerful attack. Hoo hoo hoo. The two dragons roared as they charged forward. This time their target was not the evil god apostles at the 8th level of the fulfillment realm, but the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. Be careful! Another 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle yelled. However, Yixian's sneak attack this time was too sudden. No one expected that there would be an attacker on the evil god's altar. Boom! The 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostle was blasted into dust. Not a single one of them was left alive. But this wasn't the end of it. When the first twin dragon roar stopped, Yixian had already condensed a second wave of true energy. Killing intent explosion. Twin dragon roar. The target of this dragon roar was the other evil god apostle. However, the other evil god apostle was prepared. Whoosh! The faith crystal in the evil god apostle's mind trembled. Then it released energy to protect him, allowing him to avoid the attack. Unfortunately for him, Yixian's two artifacts were already in front of him. Crack! Wei Zhantian and the old tree's tough branches formed a suit of armor and locked the evil god apostle in place. Twin dragon roar. This time the evil god apostle was no longer able to resist. He was blasted into dust along with Wei Zhantian and the old tree. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Following a system notification, Yixian shot out and collected the two evil god apostles' corpses and universe rings. Then, he swiftly left the evil god altar and slipped into the darkness. Then he tore through space and arrived at another corner. Who is so arrogant? When Yixian left, an old scorpion man rushed over and gave chase after him with a loud roar. Unfortunately, he didn't see anyone. The fact that two 9th level fulfillment realm evil god apostles had been killed so close to him was out of his expectations. Two humans dare to disturb the business of the evil god cult? They are courting death. The old scorpion man gritted his teeth in anger. He swore that he would find Yixian. Meanwhile, on the other side of the evil god altar. Ding! Wei Zhantian has broken through. He is currently at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. Yixian, who was hiding in the darkness, heard another system notification. Wei Zhantian had finally broken through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. It had only been half an hour, but Yixian had obtained great benefits. If he killed everyone on the evil god altar, then he could at least break through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. I have too much experience. I probably need to kill 10 9th level evil god apostles before I can get enough experience. But now that I've been exposed, it won't be that easy. Yixian felt a little helpless, but he was bound to be exposed. After all, no one could do a flawless job, not even him. Right now, the atmosphere of the entire evil god altar was very tense. It was because 1/5 of the 9th level evil god apostles had died. More importantly, it had only been half an hour. If this continued, the evil god altar couldn't be built anymore. The four of you go out and search. You must find the troublemaker. The evil god cult elder at the center of the evil god altar shouted coldly. Yes, elder. The four fragmentation realm protectors nodded and flew out in four directions. They began to search for Yixian's whereabouts. However, Yixian, who was in the assassination state, was very good at hiding himself. Even if a fragmentation realm expert's spirit consciousness swept over him, they might not be able to discover him. Moreover, Yixian could still move. He could use the Eye of Revelation to observe the enemy and keep a distance. Very soon, the four fragmentation realm evil god cult enforcers swept through the surroundings, but they did not find anything out of the ordinary. Has he already escaped? The scorpion elder thought in puzzlement. They continued to search, but still didn't find anything. Thus they could only give up. Continue. The evil god altar began to be built again. At this time, Yixian, who was hiding in the darkness, used the Eye of Revelation to observe the situation. Not good. The four protectors of the evil god cult are setting up a formation. Yixian's heart trembled, and his expression changed greatly. If this formation was completed, he would have to attack this formation first if he wanted to enter. This is troublesome. Yixian frowned deeply and quickly made a new plan in his mind. Chapter 1300. That's our only choice. Let's go in and harass them. Yixian thought and said in his mind, Old tree Wei Zhantian, I will go in and harass them. You two focus on killing the 8th stage evil god apostles. Young master, are you going to use your big moves? Old tree asked. The ultimate move he was talking about was the Divine Wood Prison and the Wild Python Sweep. He estimated that if they were combined with the Storm of Swords, they would be able to take care of at least 10 9th-level evil god apostles. This way Yi Xian would be able to break through to the 8th level of the Fulfillment Realm. Let's gather them together first and then use them together. Yi Xian replied. Bladestorm and Python Sweep were extremely powerful AoE skills. Naturally, they had to be used after gathering the monsters. Okay, Old Tree replied. Then Yi Xian instructed Luo Luo. Luo Luo, you will be responsible for destroying the evil god's altar later. Okay, but this evil god's altar doesn't seem to be that easy to destroy, Luo Luo said. Just do your best to destroy it. Buy as much time as you can. Yi Xian nodded. Even with a large number of faith crystals, Luo Luo still needed some time to break through to the 8th stage of the Fulfillment Realm. With her current realm, destroying this evil god's altar was a bit difficult. Yi Xian and the others prepared for a moment and then attacked the evil god's altar. The 4 fragmentation realm protectors inside the evil god's altar were setting up the formation. The black-robed man at the center was also forging the statue of the evil god. If Yi Xian attacked the evil god's altar, they would have no choice but to stop what they were doing to deal with him. However, Yi Xian was not confident that he could deal with a fragmentation realm expert. Therefore, he needed to break through to the 8th stage of the Fulfillment Realm before they could react. Kill. Seeing that it was about time, Yi Xian abruptly stepped into the evil god's altar. The moment he stepped into the evil god's altar, he quickly set up a spatial lock on the altar. This way, he could enter through the void even after the formation was set up. Killing intent eruption. Twin Dragon Roar. Without another word, he unleashed his strongest attack on a nearby evil god apostle. At the same time, Old Tree and Wei Jintian also attacked from the left and right. Their mission was to gather everyone in this area and then use 2 big moves. Rumble. The twin dragons roared and instantly killed a 9th-level Fulfillment Realm evil god apostle. Not only that, they also killed the 2 unlucky bastards behind him. 3 kills in 1 strike. However, this was not enough. Twin Dragon Roar. Yi Xian continued to attack, but since everyone around him had reacted, he prioritized attacking the evil god apostles at the 8th level of the Fulfillment Realm first. Another 4 died. The 2 humans have come out. Kill them. The nearby evil god apostles all gathered together and gathered their firepower. Not only that, but the evil god protectors that were setting up spirit formations in all 4 directions also noticed them. How dare you kill an apostle of the Cthulhuism Society? You're courting death. The Scorpion Elder immediately attacked. It was not necessary to use 4 people to set up a formation. 3 people would do as well. The Fragmentation Realm Cthulhuism Society protector is coming. Hurry! Yi Xian urged in his mind. They're coming. Old Tree immediately responded. Earlier on, he had already tossed a Divine Wood seal to Wei Jintian. Artifact skill, Divine Wood Prison. The 2 Divine Wood seals suddenly rose and extended countless vines. In the blink of an eye, nearly 100 Cthulhuism apostles were surrounded. What? The Cthulhuism apostles were shocked. However, Wei Jintian suddenly turned into blood swords and shot out. Sword Blade Storm. A bloody storm broke out in the Divine Wood Prison. However, before this, Yi Xian had already activated another skill. Slaughter Feast. Come, let me make a scene. Yi Xian's aura surged. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he formed 2 twin dragon sword bells. Killing intent explosion. Twin dragon roar of ice and fire. The Divine Wood Prison was also a sealed space. Therefore, this skill was the most powerful it had ever been used. Some of the 8th level Fulfillment Realm Cthulhuism apostles immediately fainted. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Old Tree also activated another artifact skill. Wild Python Sweep. In an instant, tens of thousands of sharp vines extended from the Divine Wood Prison. Rip! 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 A series of crisp sounds rang out. Even if some people managed to escape with the protection of the Faith Crystal, they were still hit by the Sword Blade Storm's blood. As the Cthulhuism apostles died one by one, the Slaughter Feast's boost rapidly increased. In the blink of an eye, it had increased by 70%. At this point, 6 ninth level Fulfillment Realm Cthulhuism apostles had already died. Killing Intent Explosion. Twin Dragon Roar. Yixian continued to attack. Then, he used the power of 10,000 mammoths to draw the corpses over. His cultivation base continued to rise. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Inside the Divinewood prison, there was a storm of blood. In less than a second, most of the Cthulhuism apostles inside were dead. At this moment, the Scorpion Elder had already rushed over. He threw a punch and blasted a huge hole in the Divinewood prison. When he saw the scene inside clearly, he was also subconsciously stunned. In just a second, so many people had died. Even he couldn't do it. Just as he broke through the Divinewood prison, Yixian's lips curled up slightly. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is currently at the 8th level of the Fulfillment Realm. After the system notification, Yixian's aura skyrocketed several times. At this time, the Slaughter Feast's boost had doubled. After all, after using the Slaughter Feast, the boost would increase with Yixian's cultivation. If Yixian was only at the 7th level of the Fulfillment Realm, the boost would be doubled. In the next moment, if Yixian broke through to the 8th level of the Fulfillment Realm, the boost would still be doubled. Although both boosts were doubled, the difference was many times. This was because Yixian had broken through. Not only that, but the power of the Blade Storm and Serpent Sweep had also doubled. Fragmentation Realm, huh? Good timing. Yixian's eyes flashed as he fused. When facing such a powerful enemy, he couldn't be careless. He couldn't split himself because it was easy to be defeated one by one. The two Yixian fused into one. His aura skyrocketed again. Brat, how dare you interfere with the Cthulhuism Society's business? Die! The Scorpion Elder stomped his right foot and turned into a streak of light. That stomp even cracked the Cthulhuism god's altar. He was a first-level Fragmentation Realm expert and had already shattered one of his natal palaces. After the natal palaces were shattered, his natal true chi would increase his physique. Chapter 1301. Shadow of the Imperial Wind Dragon. Yixian flew into the air and swung his sword. Killing Intent Explosion. Unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash. A flame dragon roared out and attacked the Scorpion Elder. How dare you attack me when you're only in the 8th level of the Fulfillment Realm? How dare you? The Scorpion Elder kicked off the ground again and flew into the air. Then, he punched with his right fist and shattered the flame dragon. What a strong body! As expected of a Fragmentation Realm expert. Yixian's expression froze. A Fragmentation Realm expert could only use 100% of their strength on land, but they could only use 80% of their strength in the air. This 20% difference gave Yixian the confidence to kill his opponent. However, Yixian wasn't fighting alone right now. Sword Storm. Wild Python Sweep. The target of these two moves was the Scorpion Elder. Wild Python Sweep was fine because Old Tree was only in the 8th level of the Fulfillment Realm. However, Megatron was in the 9th level of the Fulfillment Realm. It was much stronger than Wild Python Sweep. Scorpion Shadow Whip. The Scorpion Elder gathered his true chi and manifestation power to enlarge his scorpion tail. Then, he swung it a few times to break the sharp branches. However, the Sword Storm had already surrounded him. The Sword Storm was as powerful as a Fragmentation Realm expert's divine power. After the Scorpion Elder was surrounded, he created a giant scorpion shadow to defend himself, but it was broken almost instantly. Charge! The Scorpion Elder's expression darkened. He threw a punch and opened a bloody path in the sword storm. However, he was injured because of it. Seeing this, Yixian's eyes lit up. So what if the Scorpion Elder was in the Fragmentation Realm? He would still bleed under his two moves. Continue, Yixian said in his mind. Then the Old Tree and Megatron continued to attack. These two talisman skills weren't one-time use. They were time-controlled and lasted for about 10 seconds. 10 seconds was enough to kill this expert in the void-breaking realm. Of course, that was if the Scorpion Elder didn't break out of the Divinewood prison. You want to leave? Stay. Suddenly, Yixian's eyes flashed. Previously, because he was chasing after Nalan Bing, he had placed a death pursuit order on her. Now that Nalan Bing was under the Evil God Altar, as long as he destroyed the Evil God Altar, it would be Nalan Bing's time of death. Therefore, there was no need for Yixian to continue hiding. Death warrant. Yixian immediately left a fatal mark on the Scorpion Elder. This made the Bladestorm and Berserk Serpent even more powerful. Most importantly, Yixian still had a chance to get close to the Scorpion Man Elder, and that was the Eye of Assassination. I must save this Eye of Assassination for a critical moment. I must kill him in one strike, Yixian thought to himself. Now that he had the Bladestorm and Berserk Python sweep, he had to exhaust them first. Bastard, take this. As the Scorpion Elder dodged, he did not forget to attack Yixian. This was a shattering mystique. Ghostly Frost Claw. A gigantic blue palm covered the sky as it smashed towards Yixian. However, Yixian's eyes suddenly flashed. Ding! Ghostly Frost Claw copied successfully. When the system notification rang out, Yixian immediately circulated the true qi in his body and struck out with all his might. Ghostly Frost Claw. The two enormous blue palms collided, creating 1,000 layers of shockwaves that froze the surrounding vines and branches. This attack was a shattering mystique. Although Yixian had the growth-type Peerless Flame Dragon Slash, he was only at the 8th level of the Fulfillment Realm. Therefore, the attack could only be considered a high-grade Fulfillment Realm mystique. Its power was still weaker than the Ghostly Frost Claw. What? This kid knows it too? The Scorpion Elder was shocked. This attack was his ultimate move, and it had taken him 10 years to master it. How could Yixian know it too? Fortunately, he still had the upper hand in this clash. Yixian's Ghostly Frost Claw was defeated. Kid, you're still too inexperienced to fight me. Although the Scorpion Elder did not know why Yixian also knew this shattering mystique, he immediately gloated when he saw that Yixian had no intention of dodging. However, at this moment, whoosh! Yixian suddenly disappeared without a trace. Yes, he disappeared right in front of the Scorpion Elder. Even the Scorpion Elder did not know how Yixian had disappeared. What? Where did he go? The Scorpion Elder was shocked. In the next moment he felt a chill on his back. When he turned around, he saw a Ghostly Frost Claw coming at him. Bang! The Scorpion Elder could not react in time and was hit head-on. His entire body was instantly covered in ice crystals, and he looked like an ice corpse. This is impossible. The Scorpion Elder did not die. He stared at Yixian in shock. He could not understand how Yixian could cross the distance and silently attack him from behind. However, he did not have time to think. Accept the baptism of Bladestorm. Yixian's eyes flashed and his lips curled up. This time the Scorpion Elder was still alive? Whoosh! 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 First the Bladestorm swept over. Then countless vines stabbed at him. After a series of crisp sounds, Yixian finally heard the system notification. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. The system notification sounded like the Scorpion Elder's last words. Of course, the Scorpion Elder was defeated because he had used the shattering mystique once. The Ghostly Frost Claw was an ice attribute attack and had the effect of freezing. The Scorpion Elder was frozen from head to toe, which was why he was hit by the Bladestorm and the Python. When the Bladestorm swept over, Yixian quickly put away the Elder's body with the power of 10,000 mammoths. There were a lot of things inside. There were actually 100,000 faith crystals, and they were not small. They were enough for Luo to cultivate to the 9th level of the Fulfillment Realm. However, Yixian did not have time to examine carefully. At this time the other 3 elders broke through a large hole and rushed in. They happened to see the Scorpion Elder's body being put away by Yixian. How is this possible? Protector Xie Yongming is dead? He died at the hands of an 8th level Fulfillment Realm human? Go avenge Protector Xie Yongming. The 3 Fragmentation Realm protectors of the Cthulhuism cult immediately rushed over. With the death of the Scorpion Man Elder, the Feast of Slaughter once again increased by 50%. Yixian's strength was 5 times greater than before he used the Feast of Slaughter. Even so, he was not confident that he could fight 3 Fragmentation Realm elites at the same time. Let's go. Chapter 1302. After him. The 3 Fragmentation Realm experts weren't going to let Yixian go. They sprinted across the ground and caught up to him in the blink of an eye. As expected, I can't outrun him. Yixian bitterly laughed as he directly broke through the void and entered. Stop him. One of them shouted, but he was still one step too slow. The eye of the void had already closed. The three of them almost vomited blood when they saw Yixian's aura disappear. A fragmentation realm expert was killed by a 8th-stage fulfillment realm expert, Yixian. The three of them actually watched as Yixian ran away. This was an absolute humiliation. Find him, we must find him. The three of them immediately spread out and ran out of the evil god's altar. They believed that Yixian was nearby. Indeed, Yixian was still nearby, but he had already arrived at the other side of the evil god's altar. Yixian wanted to increase his strength while the Feast of Slaughter was still active. The death of the Scorpion Elder increased the evil god's altar's construction time by half a day. Adding the evil god's apostles who died earlier, the evil god's altar's construction time had now reached 2 days. One had to know that the evil god's altar's construction time was only 1 day and 3 hours when he accepted the random mission. Although the evil god's altar's construction time has increased, an hour has already passed. When he thought of this, Yixian charged into the evil god's altar again and began a frenzied slaughter. With his current realm, he could instantly kill a 9th-stage fulfillment realm evil god's apostle, even if he didn't launch a sneak attack. In the blink of an eye, more than a dozen evil god's apostles died at his hands, including 3 9th-stage fulfillment realm apostles. The Feast of Slaughter's buff soared again. However, the commotion just now had attracted the attention of the black-robed man at the center. What a bunch of trash. You can't even do something right. The black-clothed man let out a low shout and directly charged towards Yixian. You finally made a move. With the eye of revelation, Yixian saw the suspected 2nd-stage fragmentation realm expert charging toward him. His speed was at least 3 times faster than his own. Go! Yixian once again broke through the void and entered. Hua! The void door closed and the black-robed man missed. But in the next moment he heard movement again. Haha! Catch me if you have the guts. Yixian's arrogant voice fell into the ears of the black-clothed man, causing the latter's expression to change. Even he could not see how Yixian had left. How dare you disturb my Cthulhuism society? You deserve to die. The black-clothed man rushed out again. However, before he arrived, Yixian had already killed several people. Then he broke through the void and arrived at another corner. The black-robed man at the 2nd level of the fragmentation realm was actually played like a fool by Yixian, a mere 8th level fulfillment realm martial practitioner. You 3 pieces of trash, come back. The black-clothed man shouted angrily. His voice was deafening as it spread into the distance. The 3 protectors at the 1st level of the fragmentation realm were still searching for Yixian. When they heard this, they quickly turned around and returned. At the same time, Yixian, who was at another corner of the Cthulhuism god altar, heard this and his expression darkened. If these 3 protectors at the 1st level of the fragmentation realm returned, then he would not be able to kill any more Cthulhuism god apostles. Flame Dragon's Peerless Slash. Frost Ghost Claw. Yixian killed a few more Cthulhuism god apostles. Then he broke through the void again. This time he was going to leave. Soon, the 3 fragmentation realm experts returned, but Yixian had already left. Xie Yongming is dead? The black-clothed man asked directly. Yes. The 3 protectors' expressions changed as they nodded and answered in unison. Trash, truly trash. He was actually killed by an 8th-level fulfillment realm human. Trash. The black-clothed elder could not help but curse angrily. However, he neglected one point. He was at the 2nd level of the fragmentation realm, but hadn't he also failed to capture Yixian? The word trash was also suitable for him. Everyone, gather at the Cthulhuism god statue. The black-clothed elder continued to shout. Soon, the 300 Cthulhuism god apostles quickly gathered. Everyone, first finish the Cthulhuism god statue. When the Cthulhuism gods will descend, those troublemakers will definitely not be able to escape death. The black-clothed elder immediately ordered. Yes. Everyone responded in unison. Originally, they were working left and right, building the Cthulhuism god altar while forging the Cthulhuism god statue. Now, gathering everyone to forge the Cthulhuism god statue was much faster than the black-clothed elder doing it alone. At this time, Yixian, who was outside the Cthulhuism god altar, saw this scene. They're starting to forge the Cthulhuism god statue. Yixian's expression was not very good. With so many people gathered together, he could not kill anymore. Moreover, now that the Feast of Slaughter's effect had worn off, he did not dare to attack even if he was given the courage. Young master, that Cthulhuism god statue is made of faith crystals. At this time Luoluo, who was beside Yixian, suddenly reminded him. Oh! Hearing this, Yixian raised an eyebrow. Just now, he had focused on killing people and neglected this point. He quickly swept the Cthulhuism god statue with the Eye of Revelation, and found that it was really as Luoluo said. It was completely made of faith crystals. Why are they using faith crystals? Yixian asked curiously. The Cthulhuism god's will is too strong. Humans are usually unable to bear it, but these faith crystals can. I reckon that they first forged the Cthulhuism god statue, and then used it to carry the Cthulhuism god's will. However, this is only a half-activated state. Only by offering the offerings under the Cthulhuism god altar can the Cthulhuism god statue be fully activated and carry more of the Cthulhuism god's will, Luoluo explained. This content was already beyond Yixian's understanding, but Yixian did not need to know so much. He only knew that if this Cthulhuism god statue was completed, then he would be in trouble. In that case, we must prioritize destroying this Cthulhuism god statue. Yixian's eyes flickered as he looked into the distance. Now he finally understood why the Cthulhuism god altar was so big. It was because this Cthulhuism god statue was comparable to a skyscraper. If the Cthulhuism god altar was too small, then the sacrificial ceremony would not be able to continue. Hence, the Cthulhuism god altar had to be bigger. Young master, you can destroy this altar first. This will buy you some time. Moreover, there should be many offerings under it, so we can rescue them, Luoluo suggested. Yixian nodded slightly when he heard this. The Xianming duo demons were under the altar. Yixian reckoned that they were captured by the Cthulhuism Society and used as offerings. However, Yixian's death pursuit order had already changed its target, so he could no longer sense Nalanbing's exact location. Moreover, the death pursuit order could only be used once a day. The Xianming duo demons are nothing. The most important thing is to destroy the Cthulhuism god altar first. Yixian thought in his heart and attacked again. Chapter 1303. Wei Zhentian attacked together. Yixian jumped onto the evil god's altar and said to Wei Zhentian. As for the old tree and Luoluo, they were cultivating in the planting space. If they broke through again, then Yixian would have the ability to fight against a fragmentation realm elite. Killing intent explosion. Flame dragon's peerless slash. Yixian swung his sword at the ground, and a flame dragon flew toward the evil god's altar. The evil god's altar was built with a special method, and its defensive ability was quite good. Luoluo's attack just now only left a few cracks. However, Yixian's attack power was much stronger than Luoluo's. Crack! The evil god's altar shattered into pieces. Then Wei Zhentian swooped down and devoured the shattered pieces of metal. Wei Zhentian, these are all yours, Yixian shouted. Although Wei Zhentian had broken through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm, he had not reached the peak of the 9th level yet. Moreover, when Wei Zhentian devoured the metal ores, Yixian did the same. The commotion here naturally attracted the attention of the group at the center of the evil god's altar. He's come out again. You three go capture him. The black-robed elder snorted coldly. Yes. The 3 fragmentation realm elites nodded and rushed out together. With Yixian's current realm, he could not fight 1 fragmentation realm elite alone, let alone 3. Eye of the Void. Seeing the 3 of them coming, Yixian immediately broke through the void and went to the other side. Continue. Rumble. Another rumble came from the other side. The 3 fragmentation realm elites looked at each other. Then one of them stayed behind, and the other 2 turned around and rushed back. Splitting up, huh? Yixian glanced at them, and the corners of his mouth curled up slightly. When the 2 of them rushed over, he broke through the void again and went to the other side. This time, the 2 of them split up again, and one of them rushed toward Yixian. Yixian's eyes flashed as he used the eyes of the void to head in the 4th direction. Originally, the Cthulhuism Society had 4 protectors who could guard the 4 directions. However, with the death of Xia Yongming, a gap had appeared in the Cthulhuism altar. Fortunately, There was still an elder at the heretical god altar. "Brat, don't leave if you have the guts," the black-clothed elder shouted. "Idiot, don't chase me if you have the guts." Yi Xian rolled his eyes at his opponent. After a few slashes, he left quietly. This time, he arrived at the evil god's altar. "Eye of insight." When the void gate closed, Yi Xian hurriedly scanned the surroundings with his eye of revelation. He discovered that the three guardians and elders did not move. They seemed to be guarding the gate. Too naive. Yi Xian smirked and said to Wei Zhentian in his mind, "Little Tian, make some noise outside." Wei Zhentian immediately understood. This time Yi Xian was going to use a diversion tactic. Soon Wei Zhentian left the altar and made a loud noise outside. The Cthulhuism Society guardian on the south frowned and rushed out. However, Yi Xian approached the evil god's altar from the sky when he left. "Idiot!" Yi Xian could not help but laugh. Then he suddenly dove down. Ghostly frost hand. A huge palm came crashing down. Oh no! The Cthulhuism Society elder on the east looked gloomy and quickly turned around. However, he was still a little too late. Bang! The Cthulhuism Society elder's ghostly frost hand attack was slightly deflected. However, the remaining power still hit the Cthulhuism god statue. Crack! The left claw of the Cthulhuism god statue was smashed into pieces. The Cthulhuism apostle's mission became even more difficult. Damn it! The Cthulhuism Society elder shouted angrily, and threw a punch at Yi Xian. Whoosh! However, before this, Yi Xian broke through the void and left again. This huge fist shadow pounced on empty air. This time, Yi Xian's plan succeeded because he left a void tracker near the center. At this time, he passed through the void eye and arrived at the east side where the Cthulhuism Society elder was guarding. Kacha! 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 The crisp sounds made the Cthulhuism Society elder in the center grit his teeth. Humiliation! What a humiliation! A second-stage fragmentation realm expert was actually played around by Yi Xian, an 8th-stage fulfillment realm human. Where was his face? Boy, you will definitely die a horrible death. After this black-robed elder finished speaking, he suddenly took out something from his universe ring and threw it into the sky. Yi Xian, who had the eye of revelation, focused his eyes and found that it was a communication puppet. Not good, I have to shoot it down. Otherwise, if another fragmentation realm guardian comes, then my random mission will be almost impossible. Yi Xian's expression darkened and he attacked like lightning. Whoosh! Boy, don't treat me as if I don't exist. Just as Yi Xian attacked, the black-robed elder's voice suddenly rang out. He punched out and directly hit Yi Xian's chest. Not good, run. Yi Xian immediately made the decision to break open the void eye and turn around to enter. However, the black-robed elder's attack was too fast and directly penetrated his chest. You're still not dead? The black-robed elder snorted coldly in his heart. This stupid human had been pestering him for so long and was finally killed by him. He regained some of his face. However, what he did not know was that Yi Xian's vital point was not the heart. Whoosh! The void eye suddenly closed, and a rumbling sound came from behind the black-robed elder. What? The black-robed elder turned around and found that the body of the Cthulhuism god statue had suddenly shattered. Haha, you idiot! Yi Xian could not help but curse loudly. At the same time, the wound on his chest was quickly recovering. The black-robed elder was shocked. Yi Xian's heart had been penetrated, so why was he still not dead? Why? Just now, Yi Xian was one step slower in order to shoot down the communication puppet. The black-robed elder just happened to want to use the communication puppet to lure Yi Xian into a trap. Then Yi Xian indeed fell into the other party's trap. However, Yi Xian was playing hard to get because the black-robed elder definitely did not know his secret. When the Cthulhuism god statue formed by the faith crystal collapsed, Yi Xian's eyes flashed as he suddenly discovered an entrance that led to the underground. Yi Xian had previously asked Wei Zhentian to take a look, but there was an array under the Cthulhuism god altar, so the sacrificial offerings could not be released. Now the entrance had appeared. Let me expand this entrance. Yi Xian suddenly shot out 2 beams of light and then split into 2. Dual Dragon Sword Bell. Killing Intent Explosion. Dual Dragon Roar of Ice and Fire. The Dual Dragon Sword Bell happened to cover the entrance. Wang! Rumble. This sound wave attack was like a shovel, shaking open the entrance. One more time. Chapter 1304. Buzz. The entrance was forcibly expanded to twice its original size. Let's go. Yixian did not dare to delay and hurriedly tore open the void to leave. Then the black-robed elder arrived angrily. Guard this entrance. Kill whoever dares to come out. The black-robed elder immediately said to the two fragmentation realm protectors who had just arrived. Yes. The two immediately nodded. As for the third person, he wandered around and searched for Yixian's location. At this time, Yixian once again arrived outside the evil god altar and escaped into the darkness. He glanced at the panel and found that the mission completion rate was actually 70%. This gave him a fright. I remember that my mission completion rate was only 30% before. After the evil god statue collapsed, it actually reached 80%. Yixian swallowed his saliva. He estimated that the completion rate of this evil god altar mission could reach 150%. 100 of them would be the evil god altar, and the other 50 would be the evil god statue. If I complete 150%, will the reward double? Yixian suddenly thought curiously. However, this was a little difficult. After all, he was only 80%. Whether he could complete 100% was still a problem. Whatever, continue dismantling. Yixian did not say anything and rushed into the evil god altar again. Rumble. The sounds continued, but this time, the people of the Cthulhuism Society did not make a move. Ignore this human, guard the entrance. The black-robed elder said and just watched as Yixian dismantled the evil god altar. They had only built the evil god altar 5 days ago, but if the sacrifices below ran away, they would have to capture them for at least a month. After a while, the evil god society protectors and elders nearby would arrive. At that time, Yixian would not be able to escape. In the distance, these people from the Cthulhuism Society actually chose to guard and not capture me. How strange. Yixian was a little surprised. However, it was good that the Xianming duodemons were also below, so it was good that the evil god society was guarding. Before he left, he scanned the area with the Eye of Revelation and discovered that there were at least 5,000 offerings. Moreover, they were all at the 7th level of the fulfillment realm at the very least. Such a large batch of offerings was much more important than the evil god altar. This way, Yixian would benefit from it. Mission completion rate 85%. Mission completion rate 90%. Mission completion rate 95%. System notifications rang in Yixian's ears one after another. However, apart from the Shattered Realm expert who was chasing after Yixian, no one else had come. Mission completion rate 100%. Finally, the completion rate of this random mission reached 100%. Ding! Random mission completion rate has reached 100%. Host can choose to hand in the mission immediately or continue to complete it. Hearing this, Yixian's eyes flashed with a strange light. The random mission this time was just as he had expected. Once the completion rate of the mission reached 100%, he could choose to turn in the mission. The highest completion rate should be 150%. Such a reward would definitely be higher than 100%. In any case, they can't do anything to me now. Continue. Yixian did not choose to turn in the mission. Instead, he chose to continue because the higher the completion rate, the better the reward. Mission completion rate 105%. Mission completion rate 110%. The system notifications continued to ring. However, when the mission completion rate reached 120%, several figures suddenly appeared from the horizon. Sure enough, someone is here. Looks like I can't continue. Yixian felt a little helpless. Although he had blocked the communication puppet of the black-robed elder, the other three had already sent it. Hence, it was inevitable that the evil god society would come to his aid. Eye of the Void. He immediately broke through the void and left the evil god altar. At the same time, he also turned in the mission. After all, time was ticking and the reward would only get worse as time passed. Whoosh! The void door closed and Yixian hid in a place 1 hour away from the evil god altar. Ding! Random mission completed. Completion rate reached 120%. Calculating reward. The system notification rang. Ding! Reward calculation complete. The host can choose 2 rewards. 1. The host and all objects in his body can be upgraded to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. 2. The duration of the Eye of Glory becomes permanent. 3. The Eye of Nirvana and the Eye of Disintegration merge. This time the random mission actually had 3 rewards. This shocked Yixian. Most importantly, he could choose 2 rewards this time. First, he looked at the first reward. This would allow him to instantly break through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. The same went for Luo Luo and the Old Tree. This way, he would have the qualifications to fight against a fragmentation realm elite. However, he could take his time to gain experience. For the sake of the long term, he would not choose this for the time being. Next, he looked at the second reward. It could make the duration of the Eye of Glory become permanent. This meant that after using it once, his true chi would permanently turn golden. In other words, he would permanently increase 1 level. He would not need to use the Eye of Glory every time, which would save a lot of eye power. As for the Eye of Nirvana and the Eye of Disintegration, this reward was also very good. Seeing this, Yixian made his decision. He would choose the second and third rewards. Ding. Confirm. Confirm. Ding. The Eye of Nirvana and the Eye of Disintegration merge. Ding. The host has learned the Eye of Nirvana. Several system notifications sounded in succession. Yixian immediately checked and found that the Eye of Glory had changed. It could be activated or deactivated, and it did not need to use eye power to activate it. As for the Eye of Nirvana, Yixian still wanted to try it. He immediately turned to look at the stone wall opposite him. Eye of Nirvana. Whoosh! The attack was still a silver slash, but it had the effect of the Eye of Disintegration. The Eye of Disintegration could disintegrate anything, even true chi. Now that it had merged with the Eye of Nirvana, it had unintentionally increased its power. Of course, the Eye of Nirvana had a second attack method, which was an invisible ray attack. Whether it was speed or power, it was stronger than before. The Eye of Nirvana, not bad. Yixian nodded in satisfaction. Now that the random mission was completed, he did not need to rush anymore. He could wait for Luo Luo and the Old Tree to break through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm before he went to the Cthulhuism Society. No, maybe he did not need to wait. Yixian checked the items in Protector Xie Yangming's ring and found a map. This map was bigger than the one Xiefeng had, and there were 2 Cthulhuism altars on it. 2. Chapter 1305. The Cthulhuism cult's enforcers are at the first stage of the fragmentation realm, and the elder is at the second stage of the fragmentation realm. That means the cult leader is at least at the second stage of the fragmentation realm, maybe even the third stage? Yixian thought to himself. With his current realm, he couldn't even deal with the first stage of the fragmentation realm. He was only able to play around with the second stage of the fragmentation realm elder because of the Eye of the Void. If he encountered the cult leader at the third stage of the fragmentation realm, he would definitely be captured and offered to the Cthulhuism cult. I can't go to the Cthulhuism cult for now. The other altar is also quite far away. I'll just stay here. Yixian suddenly dismissed the idea. The Xianming duo demons were still in this altar. Now that Nalan Bing's death warrant had disappeared, Yixian couldn't leave. Since he had promised Mo Shui, he had to kill the Xianming duo demons with his own hands. However, he wasn't in a hurry. He returned to the altar first and used the Eye of Revelation to look around. 3 fragmentation realm enforcers came just now. Including the original 3, there are 6 of them. There's also the elder at the second stage of the fragmentation realm. Yixian calculated in his mind. With his current realm, it was already difficult for him to deal with a fragmentation realm cultivator, let alone others. Luo Luo and the Old Tree will break through soon. At that time, other than me, the other 3 will be at the 9th stage of the fulfillment realm. I can deal with them. As long as I kill a few fragmentation realm enforcers, I might be able to break through. At that time, I should be able to deal with the elder. Yixian thought and asked in his mind, Old Tree Luo Luo, how long more do you need to break through? I need about 3 hours. The purification crystal is too troublesome. This old man will need about 5 hours. Luo Luo needed 3 hours, Old Tree needed 5 hours, so Yixian needed to wait for another 5 hours. However, Yixian didn't want to stay here for 5 hours. He had learned the Eye of Destruction, so he wanted to test its power. Old Tree Luo Luo, you two cultivate first. Wei Zhentian and I will disturb them. As Yixian spoke, he once again charged towards the evil god altar. It was still night, so it was convenient for them to move. In another 5 hours, the sun would rise in the desert of despair. At that time, the passive effect of the assassination status would disappear. However, after 6 hours, those skills that had a cooldown of 1 day could be used again. For example, the Deathly Hunt Order, Divine Wood Prison, and so on were refreshed at midnight. Although the quest to destroy the evil god's altar had been completed, Yixian's Zhanqi was almost limitless. It was too unbearable for him to stay there for 5 hours. He immediately rushed to the evil god's altar and began to wreak havoc. "It's you again, human. You're courting death." A middle-aged man from the scorpion race shouted and immediately rushed towards Yixian. "Eye of Destruction! Unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash!" Yixian struck out with his sword. How dare a speck of light compete with the bright moon? The middle-aged man from the scorpion tribe mocked. The scorpion tail behind him suddenly enlarged. Scorpion Shadow Whip. Bang! 2 waves of Zhanqi collided, causing shockwaves to surge. The middle-aged man from the scorpion tribe did not expect his attack to be evenly matched with Yixian's. How was this possible? The effect of the Eye of Destruction is several times stronger than before. Yixian narrowed his eyes. If the Eye of Destruction had not struck the Scorpion Shadow Whip first, the unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash would not have been evenly matched with the Scorpion Shadow Whip. This was because the Eye of Destruction was a fusion of the Eye of Destruction and the Eye of Nirvana. The attack had the effect of the Eye of Destruction, and could disintegrate the opponent's Zhanqi. Again. The middle-aged man from the scorpion tribe did not believe it and lashed out with his whip again. "Afraid of you?" Yixian snorted coldly and launched another series of attacks. Eye of Destruction. Unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash. Rumble. This time they were evenly matched again. Originally, Yixian's attacks could not defeat his opponent. However, with the Eye of Destruction, he was able to fight evenly with his opponent. It would be great if the Eye of Destruction had the effect of destruction. Every attack would have the effect of destruction. Yixian thought expectantly. The effect of destruction was just a figment of his imagination. However, it might really happen. Scorpion Shadow Whip. Eye of Destruction. Unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash. Another powerful shockwave swept out. They were evenly matched again. In fact, Yixian had already copied the Scorpion Shadow Whip. This move was quite useful. However, he did not have the scorpion tail of the scorpion tribe. Was he going to use that thing to fight? However, in terms of Zhanqi, Yixian was not inferior to the middle-aged man from the scorpion tribe. However, his opponent was in the fragmentation realm after all. His physique was much stronger than his. Hence, he would be in trouble if he was close to him. "You want to catch me? Don't you know that my zodiac sign is a loach?" Yixian snorted coldly and directly entered the void door. The middle-aged man from the scorpion tribe missed. "Damn it!" The middle-aged man from the scorpion tribe cursed angrily. He stomped his foot and left a deep footprint on the tattered evil god's altar. This evil god's altar had already been destroyed beyond recognition by Yixian. Hence it had to be rebuilt. He did not care about this footprint. At this time, Yixian broke through the void door and arrived on the other side. Then he wildly tore apart the altar. It seems that the importance of these sacrifices far surpasses this evil god's altar. Otherwise, they would not be guarding it so tightly. Yixian thought to himself as he scanned the area with the Eye of Revelation. He was planning to see if he could lure the others away so that he could enter and kill the mysterious underworld duo demons. However, this was obviously a little unrealistic unless he broke through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. However, he had already completed the random mission of destroying the evil god's altar. This meant that he still had plenty of time. He would use the Void Eye to escape and destroy everything. Half an hour. 1 hour. 2 hours. Yixian used the Void Eye to play around with the evil god society's enforcers and elders. At the same time, he was also exhausting their true chi and reducing their combat strength. Very quickly at the 3rd hour, a system notification rang out. Ding Luo Luo has broken through. She is currently at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. Finally, Luo Luo broke through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. Her current strength was probably not inferior to Yixian's. However, this was still not enough. Let's wait for another 2 hours. When the old tree breaks through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm, we will go and kill the enforcers of the evil god society. Yi Xian said in his mind. All right. Time continued to pass. Although Luo Luo had broken through, Yi Xian did not release her. Soon another 2 hours passed. Ding, Devil Tree Battle Soldier has broken through. He is currently at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. Another system notification sounded. Right now, other than Yi Xian, the other 3 were already at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. Unfortunately, if their master did not break through to the fragmentation realm, they would be stuck at the fulfillment realm. Chapter 1306. Yi Xian immediately leaped onto the evil god altar. At the center of the evil god altar, the evil god statue was already halfway done. It would be finished in a few more hours. Bastard, it's you again? The middle-aged scorpion man shouted angrily. Long-tailed monster, do you dare to fight me? Yi Xian shouted in a voice that only the 2 of them could hear. Long-tailed monster? When the middle-aged scorpion man heard this, he immediately charged toward Yi Xian furiously. Come with me if you want to fight. If anyone else comes with you, I'll leave. Yi Xian said in a threatening tone. What is this kid up to? The middle-aged scorpion man immediately reacted. Previously, Yi Xian did not dare to fight him because he controlled the time very well. Every time he approached, Yi Xian would be able to leave first. But now Yi Xian was actually inviting him to fight. Something was fishy. However, he was still in the fragmentation realm. Why would he be afraid of Yi Xian, who was in the 8th stage of the fulfillment realm? Since Yi Xian wanted to fight, he would naturally fulfill his wish. As long as he could get close to Yi Xian, he was confident that he could kill Yi Xian before he could leave. It was because of this confidence that he dared to follow. In the distance, another scorpion man protector noticed and was about to follow, but he was stopped by the middle-aged scorpion man. Don't follow. I'll take care of him. The middle-aged scorpion man shouted. The protector stopped and watched from afar as the middle-aged scorpion man left with Yi Xian. This time, Yi Xian was determined to kill the middle-aged scorpion man. In order to prevent others from interfering, he had to keep a distance. They traveled for a few minutes before stopping. Kid, did you set a trap here? The middle-aged scorpion man could not help but ask. Why don't you choose the location? I don't care. Yi Xian said. There was indeed a trap, but Yi Xian always carried it with him, which meant that there were only 3 of them. Hence this trap could move. So what if it's a trap? I'd like to see what kind of ability you have to lure me here. The middle-aged scorpion man was full of confidence. After all, he was 2 realms higher than Yi Xian. If that's the case, then come at me. Yi Xian's eyes flashed as he made his move. Killing intent explosion. Eye of destruction. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. A golden dragon whizzed out and attacked the middle-aged scorpion man. Ever since he completed that random quest, Yi Xian had unlocked Eyes of Glory. His hair and eyes had turned golden, and he was incomparably domineering. In the past, every time he activated the Eye of Glory, he would need a large amount of eye energy. But now he no longer needed it. Scorpion Shadow Whip. The middle-aged man also took out a move that he was relatively good at and ruthlessly whipped out. Bang! The 2 forces collided. This time Yi Xian actually had the upper hand. How was this possible? The middle-aged scorpion man was shocked. Previously they were clearly evenly matched. But now why did Yi Xian have the upper hand? Only Yi Xian understood this. This was because he did not use Killing Intent Explosion in the previous Eye of Destruction. He only had the unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash. The reason why he did not use it was because he was waiting for this moment. Whoosh whoosh. This golden dragon whizzed out and was shattered by the middle-aged scorpionman's punch. However, behind this golden flame dragon, there was another invisible attack. Killing Intent Explosion. Light of Destruction. Yi Xian quickly followed up with another attack. However, this time the Eye of Destruction was an invisible attack like the Eye of Disintegration. Sizzle sizzle. 2 Light of Destruction shot onto the middle-aged scorpionman's fist. In the blink of an eye, the middle-aged scorpionman's fist was completely disintegrated, and blood spurted out. The middle-aged scorpion man trembled when he felt the pain in his head. The battle had not even started for a second, and he had already suffered a great loss. This was an outcome that he did not expect. His entire right fist was disintegrated by the Eye of Destruction until only his wrist was left. This meant that his right hand was crippled. "Brat, I'm going to tear you apart." The middle-aged scorpion man was so angry that his face turned red. He immediately rushed towards Yixian. Before his opponent could attack him, Yixian quickly retreated while attacking. Eye of Destruction. Unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash. This combo attack was launched again. However, this time, the middle-aged scorpion man did not intend to fight head-on. Instead, he cleverly dodged. Under such circumstances, Yixian could not split himself. This was because once he split himself, his strength would decrease by 50%. He would definitely be defeated one by one. However, even if he did not split himself, he could still deal with this middle-aged scorpion man. Old Tree Megatron Luoluo. Yixian's eyes flashed as he summoned Luoluo and the other two. These three had all reached the 9th level of the Fulfillment Realm. Luoluo was the strongest among them. Megatron and Old Tree were the second strongest. However, they had one advantage over Luoluo: they could not die. Roar! After Megatron appeared, he turned into a chain of arrow towers and began to shoot wildly. Old Tree did not dare to fight head-on with the middle-aged scorpion man. He could only attack with his sharp vines. As for Luoluo, she naturally used the human wave tactic. 100-layer Fox Demon Clone. 7-colored Demon Fire, 1000-layer Explosion. Hundreds of Luoluos began to throw demon fire at the middle-aged scorpion man. Is this your trap? You underestimate me too much." The middle-aged scorpion man did not care. He moved like a bolt of lightning and shuttled through the attacks. On land, a fragmentation realm expert could unleash 100% of their strength. That was why Yixian could not fight on land. "Go to the sky." Yixian quickly rose into the sky and struck out with his palm. Ghostly Frost Hand. A giant golden palm appeared and slammed down like a meteor. The attack happened to be at the spot where the middle-aged scorpion man was hiding. He had no choice but to attack. Mountain Splitting Foot. The middle-aged scorpion man paused and used his true chi and manifestation strength to increase his strength. Suddenly, he kicked a giant foot into the sky and collided with the ghostly Frost Hand. Boom! A loud sound rang out and dust flew everywhere. This time, both sides were evenly matched. However, it would not be so simple next time. Again. Ghostly Frost Hand. Yixian attacked again, and another giant golden hand slammed down. Mountain Splitting Foot. The middle-aged scorpion man counterattacked again. However, he could only block 2 attacks. After all, he was surrounded by 4 people. Megatron and Old Tree had already launched their attacks. Get lost. An enormous amount of true chi gushed out of the middle-aged scorpion man's body and sent Megatron and Old Tree flying. At the same time, Yixian struck out a third palm in the sky. In addition, the middle-aged scorpion man used a very familiar move. Ghostly Frost Hand. Chapter 1307. Seeing this scene, the middle-aged man was completely shocked. Not only did Yixian learn Xie Yangming's Frosty Ghost Hand, but he also learned Mountain Splitting Foot? He couldn't take these 2 attacks, or rather, he couldn't take all of them. He could only take 1 attack and then dodge. Mountain Splitting Foot. The middle-aged man's right foot kicked into the sky again, colliding with the Frosty Ghost Hand. However, he had to dodge Yixian's Mountain Splitting Foot. Yixian's foot landed, creating a huge canyon on the ground. Before that, the middle-aged man had already dodged. However, just as he let down his guard, he suddenly felt an aura rapidly approaching him. Whoosh! A golden flash swept past his body. With a crisp sound, one of his thighs was suddenly separated from his body. Fortunately, he was in the fragmentation realm and had a strong physique. If he was a little slower, it would be his head that was separated from his body. What the hell is that? The middle-aged man was shocked. Even with his physique, he couldn't see what the golden flash was. Its speed was already faster than his perception. He was able to dodge this attack purely out of reflex. At this time, the golden flash suddenly paused and then turned back. Swish! This time, the middle-aged man couldn't dodge and was directly beheaded. This golden flash was the demon fox flash that the transformed Luoluo used. Luoluo, why did you transform again? It's such a waste. Yixian, who was in the air, couldn't help but shake his head when he heard the system notification that the killing intent value increased. Luolua's hair turned golden. Didn't she use that tuft of golden tail hair? Hehe, I didn't use golden tail hair. This is a skill that I just learned. It's called 9 Reincarnation Flash. Luoluo giggled. It's useless. Yixian raised his eyebrows. Yes, this 9 Reincarnation Flash is more useful than Demon Fox Flash. I can use the third flash now. However, this move consumes too much true chi. I need to recover for a while. Luoluo replied. Yixian thought that Luoluo used golden tail hair and then used Demon Fox Flash. He didn't expect Luoluo to have learned a new skill. 9 Reincarnation Flash. It sounded very powerful. The second flash of this 9 Reincarnation Flash seems to be faster than the first flash. If I use the 9th flash, even the leader of the Cthulhuism Society might not be able to defend against it. Yixian suddenly recalled the scene just now. But all in all, this time was not bad. After all, he was able to successfully kill a protector of the Cthulhuism cult who was in the fragmentation realm. If there was one, then there would be two. If he could successfully lure them out, then he might be able to successfully break through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. Immediately, Yixian went over and put away the spoils of war. There were a lot of faith crystals in this universe ring, more than 100,000 of them. After Yixian obtained them, he threw all of them to Luoluo. Because Yixian's cultivation hadn't broken through, Luoluo was stuck at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. However, she could continue to cultivate to the peak of the 9th level of the fulfillment realm, and then purify the faith crystal. Once Yixian breaks through, she can also directly break through to the fragmentation realm. It was the same for Wei Zhentian and the old tree. Yixian's cultivation speed had always been the slowest. Let's go back and see if we can lure another one over. Yixian sent Luoluo and the others back to the planting space. Then, he headed toward the Cthulhuism altar. But on the way, he met another Cthulhuism Society enforcer. It was the one who wanted to follow him but was stopped by the middle-aged man. Seeing that Yixian was safe and sound, the Cthulhuism Society enforcer's eyes flashed. He shouted, "You killed him. Do you think I have the ability to kill a fragmentation realm elite?" Yixian didn't admit it. He didn't want to scare the other party away. Since he couldn't kill him, Yixian must have set a trap and trapped him. That was what the Cthulhuism Society enforcer thought. How dare you destroy the Cthulhuism altar? You deserve to die. The Cthulhuism Society enforcer snorted and attacked. Go to hell. If you can, ask your Cthulhuism to strangle me. Yixian cursed and immediately counterattacked. Scorpion Shadow Whip. Flame Dragon's unparalleled slash. Rumble. This time, Yixian was at a disadvantage. This was because he felt that this wasn't the place to fight. He should retreat first. You want to leave? Stay here. The Cthulhuism Society enforcer immediately saw through Yixian's intention. He shot forward and wanted to capture Yixian. Yixian had been causing trouble for so long. The black-clothed elder hated him to the core. Therefore, he wanted to capture Yixian and bring him back to earn some merit. However, at this moment, boom! A loud explosion suddenly came from afar. The two of them stopped in their tracks and turned to look. F***ck, the entire altar was destroyed? With the eye of revelation, Yixian could see that the altar in the distance had been reduced to ruins. Then, the sacrificial offerings suppressed under the altar escaped one after another. As for the enforcers and the black-clothed elder, they were directly killed. What? The Cthulhuism Society enforcer in front of Yixian was also shocked. Who was it that killed the black-clothed elder and 4 Cthulhuism Society enforcers? Yixian, who had the eye of revelation, saw the person who destroyed the Cthulhuism god altar. It was a middle-aged man in golden armor. However, even with the eye of revelation, Yixian couldn't see through the man's cultivation base. He estimated that the other party was at least at the 4th stage of the fragmentation realm. He might even be at the 5th or 6th stage of the fragmentation realm. Who? Yixian and the Cthulhuism Society enforcer both guessed at the same time. However, at this moment, the man in golden armor suddenly pulled the two of them and left. Yixian was very familiar with these two people because these two people were Nalan Bing and Nalan Jia, the Xianming duo demons, whom he was chasing. So it's the enforcers. Yi Xian's eyes flashed. He instantly understood. When Lu Tiangong escorted the Xianming duo demons to Flying Sand City, he handed them to Lu Tiangong's wife, the white-haired old woman who was killed by Yi Xian that day. Then, the white-haired old woman handed them to a Scorpion Man expert. Unexpectedly, this Scorpion Man expert became an apostle of the Cthulhuism Society, so he wanted to use the Xianming duo demons as sacrificial offerings to the Cthulhuism god. Because too much time had passed, the next enforcer came back to check and this happened. They're gone. Yi Xian watched helplessly as the man in golden armor took the Xianming duo demons away. Previously, in order to kill the Cthulhuism Society enforcer Xia Yangming, he changed the death pursuit order. However, the death pursuit order's duration was not over yet. There was still half an hour left, so he could only watch as the man in golden armor took the Xianming duo demons away. Chapter 1308. 9th Level Fulfillment Realm. Nailin Bing and Nailin Jia were already at the 9th level of the Fulfillment Realm. They were even faster than Yi Xian. This pair of dual cultivating siblings sure recover their strength quickly. If I lose track of them today, I don't know when I'll be able to find them. Yi Xian thought to himself. He couldn't use the Death Hunt command. Once Nailin Bing and Nailin Jia left, he wouldn't be able to find them. However, Yi Xian still had some clues. The golden armored man who took away the Xianming duo had a foxtail behind him. This meant that he was from the Fox Charm clan. Foxtail. As long as I leave the Desert of Despair, I can easily find it. Forget it for now. If I have the chance in the future, I'll definitely find the Xianming duo and avenge Mo Shui. Yi Xian decided to forget about it. This wasn't a random mission anyway. As long as his cultivation speed surpassed the Xianming duo's dual cultivation speed, he could avenge Mo Shui. Right now, he should deal with this Cthulhuism Society enforcer first. While the other was still in shock, Yi Xian quickly attacked. Killing Intent Explosion. Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. This attack was a sneak attack. It was fast and powerful. Kid, you're courting death. The Cthulhuism Society enforcer heard the wind and suddenly turned around and punched. Boom! The Peerless Flame Dragon Slash was defeated. However, as the golden flame dragon dissipated, a golden slash came at him. Eye of Destruction. Rip! The Cthulhuism Society enforcer leaned to the side, but his right hand was still easily cut off by the Annihilation Slash. While he was fuming with rage, two figures suddenly approached him from the side. Megatron and Old Tree. Piercing Strike. A thick vine pierced through the Cthulhuism Society enforcer's body. Although it didn't crush his heart, this thick vine was madly absorbing the enforcer's blood. Kid, don't worry, there's more. Old Tree's voice suddenly rang out. Then this vine suddenly exploded. The Cthulhuism Society protector's chest was directly pierced through, and he died instantly. In this battle, Luoluo didn't even need to do anything. Just relying on Yi Xian and the Old Tree was enough to kill the Cthulhuism Society's enforcer. Firstly, it was because the Cthulhuism Society protector was distracted by the golden armored man. Secondly, it was because he had been too careless. He had not expected Yi Xian to have such strength. In short, he died with his eyes wide open. Yi Xian immediately rushed over and collected the corpse and the interspatial ring. There were a lot of ores and faith crystals inside, but for Yi Xian, it was just a drop in the bucket. Not enough. If I get all those corpses. Yi Xian suddenly looked around and saw the bodies of the black-clothed elder and the other 4 people. However, their interspatial rings were gone. They had been taken away by the golden armored man. Damn it! Yi Xian cursed angrily and broke through the void to return to the ruined Cthulhuism god altar. Although the Fragmentation Realm experts' interspatial rings were taken away, there were still hundreds of Cthulhuism god apostles' interspatial rings. Some of the sacrifices ran for their lives, but some of them were greedy and stayed to collect the interspatial rings. Many battles had already broken out above the ruins of the Cthulhuism god altar. Yi Xian ignored them and began to collect the interspatial rings. Kid, put down those interspatial rings. A discordant voice rang out. Yi Xian turned around and saw a 9th stage fulfillment realm expert of the Tiger tribe. You dare to target me? You've got guts. Yi Xian did not say anything. He slashed out a golden annihilation and killed the opponent instantly. Luoluo, it's up to you. At this time, Yixian suddenly released Luoluo. Understood. Luoluo understood immediately and formed an eye of enchantment above her head. In the blink of an eye, dozens of people were controlled by it. At the same time, Yixian did not stay idle. He killed the people who targeted him and controlled the 9th level fulfillment realm sacrifices. In the blink of an eye, they had 50 servants. These servants were quickly divided into groups and started to fight for the interspatial rings. However, because there were too many sacrifices, more than 5,000 of them, it was difficult to kill them all in a short time. The servants were strong, but there were thousands of people fighting. It was easy to die. After one died, Yixian took control of another. Yixian's killing intent soared. You dare to stay here because you want to make a profit. If that's the case, then all of you will die. Yixian rushed to the center and created an avatar. Killing intent eruption. Twin Dragon Sword Bell. Twin Dragon Roar of Ice and Fire. Twin Dragon Roar of Ice and Fire. Twin Dragon Roars of Ice and Fire. Dragon roars spread like waves. The lower realm sacrifices were instantly knocked out of the sky. Some who were close to Yixian even had their heads blown apart. Thousands of people died in an instant. The transformer Wei Jintian turned into a giant green bell and let out dragon roars. Old Tree and Luoluo did not stay idle either. System notifications rang, and Yixian's killing intent soared like a rocket. These people were at least at the 7th level of the fulfillment realm, and some were even at the peak of the fulfillment realm. If he killed them all, his killing intent might reach the peak again and he would be rewarded with 1 devour point. In the end, Yixian thought it was too slow, so he jumped into the sky and used a shattering divine ability. Ghost Hand of Frost. Giant golden hands slammed down, killing more than 10 people in one hit. Yixian's true energy was almost limitless anyway. Even if he used shattering divine abilities continuously, he could still recover. This battle lasted for several minutes. 3 minutes later, corpses were everywhere in the ruins. There were at least 3,000 corpses. As for the other 2,000 people, all of them had run away. There was no helping it. With the 4 gods of slaughter Yixian here, who could beat them? At the same time, after Yixian killed the servants under his control, he finally heard a system notification. Ding, killing intent has reached the upper limit. Will the host exchange the killing intent points for 1 devour point? The system notification said, yes. Hearing this, Yixian naturally could not say no. Ding, the host's killing intent points have reached 0. Ding, the host has obtained 1 devour point. 2 more system notifications rang. Yixian had exchanged his killing intent points for devour points. Fortunately, he had stored some weapons before. After the killing intent points reached 0, he directly devoured them. At least he could use killing intent explosion. How do I use this devour point? Yixian suddenly hesitated. He thought for a while and finally decided to use it to activate a skill of the god of slaughter bloodline. Shadow Step. This Shadow Step was similar to Imoshui's Blood Escape. It could be used to escape quickly. However, he could not attack while using it. He could only use his true energy to protect himself. Chapter 1309. Ding, host has learned Shadow Step. The system notified. Good, if I rush to the Cthulhuism Society or another Cthulhuism altar now, it won't take much time. Yixian thought for a moment before expending some of his killing intent to use the shadow steps. His entire body turned into a black ray of light as he flew out, heading in a certain direction. Shadow Step required killing intent to activate, and continuously used it would consume true energy. However, Yixian had the bloodline of the divine tree of life, so his true energy could be recovered instantly, so it was nothing. This time, he was heading towards the Cthulhuism Society. The Xianming duo demons had been taken away by the golden armored man. If Yixian chased after them and was discovered, he would be skinned alive. The Death Hunt command still had half an hour to cool down, so he decided to give up for now. If he encountered the Xianming duo demons again in the future, then he would think about revenge for Imoshui. Right now Luoluo, the Old Tree, and Wei Jintian are all stuck at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. If I don't break through, they will always be stuck. Yixian felt a little helpless. Who asked his experience to increase exponentially? Fortunately, after killing so many greedy sacrifices, although he could not break through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm, he was not far away. He estimated that if he encountered 1 or 2 more Fragmentation Realm Cthulhuism Society protectors, then he would be able to break through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. There were gains and losses. Although the Xianming Duo demons were taken away, Yi Xian obtained a devouring point. Moreover, this was not the end. Yi Xian's footsteps suddenly paused because his eye of revelation saw 2 figures. Cthulhuism Society protectors? Yi Xian's eyes flashed. He saw that the 2 figures each had 8 natal palaces, but this did not mean that they were martial practitioners at the 8th level of the fulfillment realm. It was possible that they were martial practitioners at the 1st level of the fragmentation realm, who had shattered 1 natal palace to strengthen their whole body. Based on this speed, Yi Xian could guess that these 2 were 1st level fragmentation realm protectors. Good, I'll start with you. Yi Xian's eyes flashed as he sneaked over. These 2 1st-level fragmentation realm protectors had received orders to go take a look at the Cthulhuism god altar. They did not know that danger had already struck. Killing intent explosion. Eye of destruction. Flame dragon slash. A golden flame dragon suddenly appeared under the night sky and attacked the 2 protectors. Someone's ambush. The 2 Cthulhuism Society enforcers, who were running wildly on the ground, shivered and immediately turned around to attack. Bang! The Eye of Annihilation and the peerless flame dragon slash were shattered. However, what was even more powerful was yet to come. Within the waves of energy, a large golden hand and a large golden foot appeared. Frost Ghost Hand. Split Mountain Foot. These 2 moves were very familiar to the 2 of them. They couldn't understand why they would appear here. However, now was not the time to think. Boom! 2 more shockwaves swept out, and the golden hand and foot were also blown away. Bzzz. The 2 beams of annihilation light shone on the 2 men's shoulders, instantly disintegrating their shoulder bones into dust. One of them lost his left arm and the other lost his right arm. You're courting death. One of them yelled. Although they did not know who was ambushing them, they would make sure the other party died a horrible death. Yi Xian saw the 2 of them coming and quickly summoned the old tree and Megatron to hold one of them back. As for the other, he would deal with it himself. Scatter! Old Shu and Wei Zhentian's opponent threw out a punch and directly smashed Wei Zhentian into pieces. But in the next moment, Wei Zhentian appeared again and attacked him. What? That person was shocked and punched again. Megatron and the old tree were Dharma treasures. They were immortal and were very convenient to use to fight. At this time, Yi Xian was also fighting with the other person. Kid, who are you? The Cthulhuism Society protector questioned. I'm your ancestor. Yi Xian cursed casually and used his hands, feet, and eyes. Eye of Destruction. Frost Ghost Hand. Split Mountain Foot. Chapter 1310. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. 2 system notifications rang out. Although he didn't kill them personally, Lualua was his possession. The killing intent of the people she killed would be credited to him. Yi Xian's lips curled up slightly. The killing intent of these 2 first-tier fragmentation realm martial artists was enough for him to use for a while. Before this, he estimated that his strength was about the same as Lualua's, but now it seemed that Lualua was much stronger than him. Although he could only use the 3rd flash of the 9 flash of Samsara, it was enough to kill a first-tier fragmentation realm martial artist. This time it was all thanks to Lualua. Immediately, Yi Xian pulled the 2 corpses over and devoured their universe rings. Ding! Host has broken through. Host is currently at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. Finally, he broke through to the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. When the system notification rang out, Yi Xian felt his aura increase by several times. Right now, he could probably kill a first-tier fragmentation realm martial artist with ease. As long as I break through again and reach the fragmentation realm, then Lualua and the others can instantly break through to the fragmentation realm. Yi Xian thought to himself as he continued to use shadow steps to hasten his journey. Although they were both at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm, Yi Xian's speed on land had already surpassed Wei Zhentian's. If he used shadow steps, his speed would be at least 3 times faster than Wei Zhentian's. Half a day later, He arrived at the Cthulhuism Society at the center of the two Cthulhuism altars. The Cthulhuism Society's headquarters was actually a scorpion palace. This shocked Yixian a little. At this time the sun had already risen, so Yixian didn't dare to get too close. He observed from afar with the eye of revelation. A small altar had already been built in front of the Cthulhuism Society's headquarters. At the center of this small altar was a statue of the Cthulhuism god. There are quite a few 8th and 9th level Fulfillment Realm martial artists, and a first-tier Fragmentation Realm martial artist. Yixian's eyes flashed as he swept a glance, secretly planning in his mind. His mission this time was to annihilate the Cthulhuism Society, but his strength could only kill a first-tier Shattering Realm Protector at most. If he were to face an Elder, it would be very difficult to determine the victor in a short time. And this was the Cthulhuism Society's base camp. Once exposed, they would be besieged. Therefore, they had to take the long view into consideration. I once controlled the Scorpion Men, but I was unable to create a scorpion tail with my disguise mask, so I was unable to infiltrate the Cthulhuism Society. Yixian felt a little helpless. Since he couldn't change his appearance, he could only find another way. However, after thinking for a long time, he still couldn't come up with an idea. Oh well, I've already broken through to the 9th level of the Fulfillment Realm anyway. I'll just charge straight in. Other than those elders at the 2nd level of the Fragmentation Realm, no one can stop me. Yixian immediately made his decision. This time he still had to face them head-on. Even if he was surrounded, he still had shadow steps and eyes of the void. However, what he was wary of was not those elders at the 2nd level of the Fragmentation Realm, but the leader of the Cthulhuism Society. Just now, he used the Eye of Revelation to roughly scan. In the front half of the Cthulhuism Society, there was only one elder and 3 protectors. As for the leader of the Cthulhuism Society, he didn't know where he was. Therefore he had to be careful. Kill. Right away, he directly turned into a ray of light and charged toward the Cthulhuism Society. Along the way there were many Fulfillment Realm apostles, but with his current realm, he didn't even care about those at the Fragmentation Realm, so why should he be afraid of them? Rip! 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 Crisp sounds rang out. Everywhere Yixian passed, there were corpses everywhere. No one could block his sword, and they couldn't even react in time. 1, 2, 5, 10, 50. Along the way, Yixian directly killed dozens of Cthulhuism Society apostles. Moreover, he killed selectively. His targets were almost all at the 9th level of the Fulfillment Realm apostles. This was more profitable. In the blink of an eye, he was already at the entrance of the Cthulhuism Society, in other words, in front of that huge palace. Who dares to be impudent in my Cthulhuism Society? The nearest Cthulhuism Society protector noticed Yixian. After shouting loudly, he pounced toward Yixian. How dare a speck of light compete with the bright moon? Yixian showed a very disdainful expression. This was a sentence he learned from a Cthulhuism Society elite. Now, he returned it to the Cthulhuism Society. So what if he was at the Fragmentation Realm? He would still kill him even if he was at the Fragmentation Realm. Killing intent explosion. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. Annihilation beam. A golden flame dragon rushed out. The Cthulhuism Society protector shouted angrily, and threw a punch with all his strength. Boom! The golden flame dragon was scattered, but after that, there were 2 more annihilation beams. Sizzle! The annihilation beam shot into the Cthulhuism Society protector's throat. In the blink of an eye, this Cthulhuism Society protector's throat was completely disintegrated, along with his chin. A head fell to the ground just like that. Dead. A Cthulhuism Society protector in the Fragmentation Realm was directly killed by Yixian. This scene shocked the surrounding people. In all their lives, this was probably the first time they saw a Fulfillment Realm cultivator kill a Fragmentation Realm cultivator. Join hands and kill him. 2 more protectors rushed out from the Cthulhuism Society. Bullying with numbers? I have my own people too. Yixian's eyes turned cold, and he summoned Wei Jintian and Old Tree. Wei Jintian and Old Tree could fight against one Cthulhuism Society protector, and Yixian could also fight against one of them alone. As long as that Cthulhuism Society elder did not come out, these 2 protectors would be killed by them within 3 seconds. Die! The Cthulhuism Society protector facing Yi Xian roared angrily. His scorpion tail stabbed fiercely, and a scorpion tail needle shot out directly at Yi Xian. Against this kind of attack, Yi Xian did not even bother to use Annihilation Beam. Instead, he easily dodged it and then slashed with his sword. Killing Intent Explosion. Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. Another golden flame dragon rushed out. Now that he had broken through to the 9th level of the Fulfillment Realm, the Peerless Flame Dragon Slash, the Growth Divine ability, had also increased in power. Compared to the Fragmentation Realm divine abilities Frost Ghost Hand and Mountain Shattering Foot, the Peerless Flame Dragon Slash was more useful. Bang! This golden flame dragon was blasted away again, but at this time, a figure suddenly appeared on the other side and then quickly turned into a golden stream of light and attacked. What? This first-level Cthulhuism Society protector was shocked. His spiritual consciousness clearly did not detect this figure just now, so why did it suddenly appear now? But when he turned around, the golden flash had already attacked. Fortunately, he reacted quickly and dodged the fatal blow. You may have dodged once, but can you dodge a second time? The corner of Yi Xian's mouth slightly curled up. Eye of Annihilation. Rip. The golden slash directly sank into the Cthulhuism Society protector's body. The wound turned into ash and scattered with the wind. Chapter 1311. Since the Cthulhuism Society enforcer had been killed by Yi Xian, Luoluo focused her attention on the second person. Second flash of Samsara. There was some distance between them, but Luoluo used the second flash to rush over. In an instant, she was behind the second Cthulhuism Society enforcer. Not good. The enforcer's expression changed, but the third flash of Samsara was too fast for him to react. Rip! Another head flew up. The Cthulhuism Society enforcer was shocked. He didn't expect that he would die in the hands of a lower-level human. In just a few seconds, the Cthulhuism Society lost 3 Fragmentation Realm enforcers. The surrounding apostles were shocked. Who is this human? How dare he kill our Cthulhuism Society enforcers? 3 enforcers are dead. Our leader will be furious. Our leader went to the altar on the right and hasn't returned yet. He's dead. With such a big commotion, the 3 elders guarding the Cthulhuism palace will skin him alive. The group of Cthulhuism apostles shouted. Yi Xian was amused. Our leader isn't here? Then I'm going to make a big fuss. His lips curled up. There were still a few enforcers and 3 elders in the Cthulhuism palace. If they rushed out, Yi Xian would have to run. However, they couldn't be guarding all the time, right? Oh right, there's a small altar here. I'll destroy it first. Before the elders in the Cthulhuism palace came out, Yi Xian turned around. But at this moment the system notification sounded. Ding! Host has triggered a chain random mission. First round, destroy the Cthulhuism statue in front of the Cthulhuism palace. A chain random mission. Finally, another series of random quests appeared, causing Yi Xian to be extremely shocked. Haha, the reward of a chain random mission is probably no worse than the previous random mission. Yi Xian laughed in his heart. After accepting the mission, he directly attacked the Cthulhuism statue on the altar. Killing Intent Explosion. Ice and Fire Twin Dragon Sword Array. Twin Dragon Roar. A golden dragon breath whizzed toward the evil god statue. Even if the statue was made of faith crystals, it couldn't withstand such a torment. However, this time it was beyond Yi Xian's expectations. Rumble. Gotcha. A crisp sound rang out from the evil god statue, but it had actually withstood the attack. One had to know that under the enhancement of the Golden Jinchi and Killing Intent, the Twin Dragon Roar was Yi Xian's strongest attack. However, this strongest attack was actually unable to destroy the heretical god statue. How was this possible? It's that strange energy. At this moment, Yi Xian's body trembled. With the Eye of Revelation, he had discovered some clues. Before the twin dragons roared outside the evil god statue, a strange layer of energy appeared. This strange layer of energy was what the evil god apostles used to save their lives. Could this energy be the so-called evil god's will? Yi Xian's body trembled. However, he didn't see it on anyone other than the evil god apostles. For example, he had killed so many of the guardians. It seemed that only Fulfillment Realm apostles could use the evil god's will in the faith crystals to save their lives. Fragmentation realm ones couldn't. I don't believe that I can't destroy you. Although the evil god statue was very hard, it was only a matter of time for Yixian to destroy it. Killing intent explosion. Twin dragon roar. Another twin dragon's roar landed accurately on the fiend god statue. Immediately, cracks appeared on the fiend god statue. Huang Xiaolong estimated that after 2 or 3 more attacks, it would be destroyed. As long as this evil god statue was destroyed, the first part of the chain mission would be completed. This part of the mission was really simple. However, just as Yixian thought so, a few people who could threaten him finally rushed out of the evil god palace. These 3 people were all elders of the evil god society, second stage of the fragmentation realm. You bunch of useless trash. Someone is destroying the evil god statue, and you're not doing anything? A black-haired elder shouted angrily. When the surrounding people heard this, they looked at each other. It wasn't that they didn't want to go, but that they couldn't win. Just now, 3 first-stage fragmentation realm guardians died one after another. If they went, they would just die in vain. However, now that these 3 elders had come out, they were enough to take care of Yixian. They're finally here. Yixian felt the 3 powerful auras and his expression darkened. Although he had broken through to the 9th stage of the fulfillment realm, he estimated that he could only deal with 1 evil god society elder at most. If he faced 3 of them, he would probably only be able to escape. Wei Zhentian, Old Tree Luoluo attacked together. Yixian immediately shouted. If the 3 of them attacked together, the power was almost equal to Twin Dragon Roar. Boom boom boom. Crack. Finally, before the 3 elders arrived, Yixian successfully destroyed the evil god statue. Ding! The first part of the chain random quest is complete. At the instant the evil god statue shattered into countless pieces, a system notification rang out. Usually, after the first part of the chain random quest was completed, it would take some time to trigger the second part. However, this time the second part of the quest was given directly. Ding! Host has triggered the second part of the quest. Kill the evil god apostles of the evil god palace and reduce their number to less than 100. Current number is 763. The second part of the random quest appeared. 763 people reduced to less than 100 people. This means that I have to kill more than 600 people. Yixian focused his mind and directly put Luoluo and the others into the planting space. Then he turned around and ran. With these 3 evil god society elders around, there was no way he could complete this quest no matter what. Thus, they had to lure him away. Brat, stay here. After the black-haired elder shouted angrily, he grabbed at Yixian with a large hand. However, Yixian easily dodged it. Bullsh *T Evil God Society. Even the evil god statue was destroyed by me. When I return, I will destroy your evil god palace. You 3 evil god lackeys, if you have the guts, come and chase me. Yixian couldn't help but curse. In the next moment he directly broke through the void. This position was not far from the evil god palace. Seeing Yixian enter the eye of the void, the 3 evil god society elders looked at each other and decided to charge in. This time Yixian didn't immediately close the eye of the void. Instead, he let the 3 of them enter. What a good spatial jump technique. The leader will definitely be interested. Capture this brat with all your might. The black-haired elder exclaimed after charging into the eye of the void. Chapter 13:12. Not good. The black-haired old man and his companions paled. They finally realized that they had been lured away. Yixian had returned. Whoosh! The second void door closed and Yixian returned to the evil god palace. The slaughter had begun. Luoluo, you 3 cripple some 9th stage fulfillment realm evil god apostles, and gather them together. Yixian immediately gave the order to Luoluo and the others. Young master, what are you doing? Luoluo asked curiously. I want to save some people and then use the secret technique. Yixian replied. Just now, those 3 elders at the second level of the fragmentation realm had been lured away by him. If they wanted to return to the evil god palace, they would need some time. Taking advantage of this time, Yixian had to deal with these people. If he started the slaughter now, the duration would be over by the time the 3 elders returned. That was why he couldn't start it now. Luoluo and the others immediately understood when they heard the secret technique and began to act. Little young master, this prison should be enough. The old tree's voice sounded in Yixian's mind. Yixian turned around and saw that the old tree had built a prison out of vines. However, this wasn't the divine wood prison. Cripple their limbs and throw them in. If they can't be trapped, then use the divine wood prison. Yixian said to the old tree and immediately acted. There were many evil god apostles in the evil god palace, and there were more than 100 of them at the 9th level of the fulfillment realm. If they were all gathered together, Yixian might be able to instantly double his strength when the 3 elders returned. A double increase would give Yixian the ability to kill a second-stage fragmentation realm cultivator. At this time, the only 2 evil god cult enforcers in the evil god palace rushed out. The 3 elders have been lured away. We must delay this brat before they return. One of the enforcers rushed out after speaking. Luo, you 3 continue. I will deal with these 2. Yixian hastily shouted. He did not intend to kill the 2 of them on the spot. Instead, he intended to keep them alive. In the blink of an eye, he was already fighting with the 2 Cthulhuism Society guardians. Boom! 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 A series of loud noises rang out. In the distance, the 3 Cthulhuism Society elders rushed back with gloomy expressions. Fortunately, the Void Eye was near the evil god palace, so they should be able to rush back. However, he did not know if he would be on time. Hurry up, the vice sect leader is currently cultivating. We must not let him disturb the vice sect leader. The black-haired elder roared furiously. At this time, in front of the evil god palace. Killing intent explosion. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. A golden flaming dragon directly engulfed a Cthulhuism Society protector and burned him to ashes. One of them had to die. Otherwise, Yixian would not be able to capture the other alive. So strong. The other person was shocked and hastily retreated. However, at this time, Yixian's eyes suddenly flickered, and a void door broke open in front of him. You've stepped into my trap, Yixian said in his heart and directly attacked the void door. Rip! Rip! With 2 crisp sounds, the Cthulhuism Society guardian, who was at the first stage of the fragmentation realm, had his legs cut off by Yixian's eye of destruction. Then, Yixian directly rushed into the void door and arrived behind the Cthulhuism Society guardian. He waved the scarlet flame sword in his hand twice and cut off the other party's hands as well. This time he was crippled by Yixian. However, in order to prevent him from escaping, Yixian directly exchanged for a bone emperor that could seal true chi and manifestation strength, and stabbed the Cthulhuism Society guardian's shoulder. The Cthulhuism Society guardian cried out in pain, and was then thrown into the prison in the old tree. Then Yixian quickly rushed out and helped to kill the guardians. There were only slightly more than 400 people left out of the original 763. In a while, they would probably be able to complete the second round of the random mission. However, the 3 Cthulhuism Society guardians were very fast. In the blink of an eye, they appeared in front of Yixian. With the eye of revelation, Yixian saw them and couldn't help but stiffen. Hurry up! There are only 2 seconds left. Yixian reminded in his mind. He estimated that he would have to use Killing Feast in 2 seconds because the 3 guardians would come over. At that time he would use it first, and then Luo and the other 3 would continue to kill the Cthulhuism Society apostles to increase the enhancement. 2 seconds was very fast, but in these 2 seconds, Yixian's group of 4 had captured more than 300 people. Now, there were only about 100 Cthulhuism Society apostles left. There were more than 500 Cthulhuism God apostles in the Fulfillment Realm 8th stage and 9th stage Fulfillment Realm apostles in the prison. These people all had their arms and legs chopped off, and some were even knocked unconscious and thrown in. Although it was a little cruel, these people were Cthulhuism Society apostles, so it was a different story. At this time, Yixian's body trembled because he saw that the 3 Cthulhuism Society elders had stepped into the range of his senses. Old Tree, move! Yixian hurriedly said to Old Tree and immediately started Killing Feast. Okay. Old Tree nodded. Then, countless sharp vines extended from the prison and pierced through the enemies. This move wasn't the Mad Python's sweep, and its power was probably not even 1/10 of the Mad Python's sweep. However, it was enough to deal with these Cthulhuism Society apostles who couldn't fight back. Moreover, Luo and Wei Zhentian were also helping. In less than a second, all the Cthulhuism Society apostles in the prison were killed. Most of them had their blood essence sucked dry by Old Tree. Old Tree sucked the blood essence on the spot and could temporarily increase his combat strength. With so much blood essence, his combat strength doubled. Unfortunately, he was stuck at the 9th stage of the fulfillment realm. Even if his combat strength doubled, he was still no match for a 2nd stage of the fragmentation realm. However, if he joined forces with Luo Luo and Wei Zhenqian, he could try to gang up on one of them. Young master, we'll help you take on one of them, Luo Luo said. No need for now. Help me after you've dealt with the rest of them, Yi Xian reminded. At this time, even the 1st stage of the fragmentation realm Cthulhuism Society Enforcer was dead. If he added the others, he would have more than double his original strength. More than double his original strength meant that Yi Xian's current strength was more than 3 times his previous strength. 3 times his strength was enough to fight against these 3 Cthulhuism Society Enforcers. It wouldn't be a problem to hold them off for a while. When the time came, Luo Luo and the other 2 would deal with all the apostles. His strength would be even higher, and they would help him hold off one of them. He might be able to kill 2 of them at once. Fight! Chapter 1313. How dare you try to lure us away? You're asking for it. The black-haired elder cursed. Both sides started to fight in an instant. Burst of killing intent. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. Yi Xian mustered up all his strength and started to attack. However, no matter how strong his attacks were, they were no match for the joint attack of 3 2nd-stage fragmentation realm experts. He was defeated in the blink of an eye. Fortunately, he still had a divine skill. Shadow Step. Yi Xian immediately stopped attacking and started to flee. Good boy, your speed is already faster than us. You're only in the 9th stage of the fulfillment realm, but you have such strength. Once we capture you, we'll interrogate you for your divine skills, and then offer them to the demon god. The black-haired elder yelled and joined forces with the other 2 to fight him. As for the lives of the other demon god apostles, it was none of their business. As long as they had the faith crystal, they could just capture any scorpion man. It was much easier than capturing the other races. While the 3 2nd-stage fragmentation realm demon god society elders were being held back by Yi Xian, Luo Luo, and the other 2 quickly finished off the remaining people. Soon, the number of demon god apostles was reduced to less than 100. Ding! Host has completed the 2nd round of the chain random mission. A system notification sounded. Finally completed. Yi Xian, who was running, breathed a sigh of relief and hurriedly said in his mind, Luo Luo, help me stall one of them. Okay. After receiving Yi Xian's order, Luo Luo and the other 2 immediately turned around and rushed toward one of them. At the same time, the black-haired elder also noticed Luo Luo and the other 2. He said to an elder, You go and finish off those 3. No problem. An elder left the group and charged toward Luo Luo. Now it was 1 against 2 and 3 against 1. With 1 less person, the pressure on Yi Xian lessened a lot. His attacks were already able to fight to a draw with his opponent. How is this possible? His attacks are stronger than ours? The black-haired elder was shocked. They had to work together to block Yi Xian's attack. This proved that Yi Xian's attacks were stronger than their individual attacks. If that's the case, then I'll have to plan how to kill all of you. Yi Xian began to plan in his mind. The skill he would use to kill was naturally Eye of the Void. Therefore, he needed to find a place to position himself, and then use Eye of the Void to launch a sneak attack. Although the 3 elders already knew about the Eyes of the Void, they never thought that Yi Xian would use it to ambush them. Boom! 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 Muffled sounds rang out as Yi Xian and Luo Luo fought fiercely. After some guidance, one of the elders stepped in front of Yi Xian's coordinates. Seeing this, Yi Xian's eyes immediately shot out 2 beams of light. Alright, die! Yi Xian roared in his heart as his eyes flickered. Eyes of the Void. Killing intent explosion. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. A golden flame dragon directly passed through the void door and rushed out from behind an elder. What? This happened so suddenly that the elder didn't even have time to react before he was engulfed by the unparalleled flame dragon slash. However, this elder was at the 2nd stage of the fragmentation realm. He wouldn't die just like that. However, Yi Xian's attack wasn't that simple. Eye of Destruction. A golden slash pierced through the air and directly penetrated the elder's back. Rip. This elder's heart was completely disintegrated. He was directly killed at the waist, and half of his scorpion tail was also cut off. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. A system notification rang out. Yixian's killing intent had increased by a large amount. At the same time, it was also increased by the Feast of Slaughter. 30%. Yixian's eyes lit up. This second stage of the Fragmentation Realm expert had increased Yixian's killing intent by 30%. 2 people against Yixian, and one of them was killed by Yixian. This was already beyond everyone's expectations. By the time the black-haired elder reacted, Yixian had already passed through the eyes of the void and arrived beside him. Oh no! The black-haired elder's expression changed drastically. He quickly turned around, only to see a golden flame dragon attack him and engulf him. Fortunately, he had already reacted and immediately used all the true qi in his body to defend himself. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The flame dragon dissipated. The black-haired elder's clothes were almost completely burned. A large part of his skin was burned, and many parts were bleeding. He looked like he had just come out of a pool of blood. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Yixian attacked again. "Brat, I'm going to kill you!" the black-haired elder shouted. In the next moment, large amounts of blood suddenly gushed out from the wounds all over his body and gathered in his hand. Fragmentation Mystique, Scorpion King Stab. A scarlet scorpion tail appeared and directly struck Yixian's chest. "Let's see who dies, you or me." Yixian's eyes flashed as he faced the scorpion tail. Rip! Rip! 2 crisp sounds spread out. Yixian's chest was penetrated by the scorpion tail made of blood, but the Eye of Destruction also killed the black-haired elder. Ding! The host's killing intent has increased. Another system notification sounded. Yixian sensed that the Feast of Slaughter's enhancement had increased by 20%. He estimated that if he killed the third elder, the increase in strength could even reach 3 times. At that time, he would be able to display 4 times his combat strength. However, before he went to help, he had to do one more thing. The interspatial rings. 2 interspatial rings fell into his hands one after the other. Then, he devoured the contents of the rings, and his cultivation level increased greatly. "Haha! Come and fight me!" Yixian laughed loudly and rushed toward the third elder. Oh no! The third elder's face sank when he saw the other 2 die. He hurriedly turned around and fled toward the evil god palace. Yixian naturally wouldn't let him go and directly chased after him. "Vice sect leader, save me!" the elder suddenly shouted. Yixian was shocked. In the next moment he felt a powerful aura. 3rd level of the Fragmentation Realm? He gulped, but after carefully sensing it, he felt that it wasn't the case. The other party shouldn't be at the 3rd level of the Fragmentation Realm, but the peak of the 2nd level. The middle-aged man who flew out of the evil god palace had 7 yuan palaces in his body. Only 2 of them were shattered, so he was still at the 2nd level of the Fragmentation Realm. However, the 3rd yuan palace was about to shatter successfully. In other words, the other party was at the peak of the 2nd level of the Fragmentation Realm and was about to break through to the 3rd level. I didn't feel this aura before. It seems that he was in seclusion to break through. Now that I made such a big commotion, he had to come out of seclusion. Yixian immediately understood. Chapter 13-14. This middle-aged man was a vice leader of the Cthulhuism cult, and his wealth was probably not small. If he succeeded in killing him, Yixian might be able to reach the peak of 9th stage fulfillment realm. If everything went smoothly, he might be able to break through to the Fragmentation Realm. At that time, his team's battle power would increase by at least 10 times. Kill! Without another word, Yixian charged towards the third elder. Before he fought with the vice leader, he had to kill this third elder. Ding! The 3rd round of the chain random mission has been triggered. Kill the Cthulhuism cult vice leader Shi Tiancheng. If the mission is completed, the scorching hell will merge with the Eye of Control. The 3rd round of the chain random mission had finally appeared. The scorching hell merging with the Eye of Control will definitely increase its power. Yixian's eyes lit up. The scorching hell was a new skill after the Eye of Illusion merged with the burning eye. Now that it had merged with the Eye of Control, 3 soul attacks and 1 skill, it would be much more convenient in the future. No matter what, it was better to complete the mission first. Erupt with killing intent. Unparalleled Flame Dragon Slash. Another golden flame dragon swept out. Presumptuous. The vice leader of the Cthulhuism cult, Shi Tiancheng, bellowed and attacked. However, he had underestimated Yixian. Bang! The golden flame dragon was struck by the scorpion shadow whip, but it was the scorpion shadow whip that dissipated, not the golden flame dragon. Huff huff! The golden flame dragon blocked the last elder's path. That was close. This elder breathed out in relief, but the danger was not over yet. 9 reincarnation flashes. Third flash. Luoluo suddenly leaped out from the side, directly passing by this elder. Swish! A head flew into the air. Blood spurting into the air. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Yixian also heard a system notification. Now that the 3 Cthulhuism cult elders were dead, the Feast of Slaughter's power had increased by 3 times. Hence, Yixian could exhibit 4 times the battle power. Young Master, the Universe Ring. As Luoluo's voice rang out, Yixian caught the Universe Ring that she had thrown at him. Without hesitation, Yixian devoured the items in the Ring of Cosmos, increasing his cultivation base once again. Just a little more and I'll be at the peak of the 9th level of the Fulfillment Realm. Yixian's eyes sparkled. As long as he killed this vice leader, he would definitely be able to break through to the Fragmentation Realm. Moreover, he had devoured that Cosmos Ring, which was equivalent to increasing the number of things he had devoured by 4 times. Because of the effect of the Feast of Slaughter, although the benefits were only temporary, it was enough. Shi Tiancheng die. Yixian shouted and charged towards the vice leader of the Cthulhuism Society. The Cthulhuism cult's vice leader Shi Tiancheng was shocked hearing Yixian's words. How did this human know his name? This brat's battle prowess is astonishing. If we capture him and offer him to the evil god will definitely be able to control him, Shi Tiancheng thought to himself. Although Yixian was a human, as long as he passed through the evil god's statue, he could instantly become the evil god's most loyal disciple. But in the next moment Shi Tiancheng realized how naive he was. Even if you're at the 3rd level of the Fragmentation Realm, I'm not afraid. Die! Yixian roared. Shameless boasting. Shi Tiancheng harumphed and charged forward. Rumble! The 2 exchanged blows for the first time, causing a huge commotion. The 2 statues at the entrance of the Cthulhuism god palace shattered. But right at this time, Yixian suddenly retreated a distance. Still want to run? Take this. Shi Tiancheng's eyes glimmered, and he shot forward like an arrow. Too naive, do you think I'm running? Seeing this, the corners of Yixian's lips curled up. I have void. I have destruction. It was the same type of trap again, but this time it was very useful. A void gate opened behind vice leader Shi Tiancheng, followed by a golden light slashing down from above. What? Shi Tiancheng's reaction was fast, and he dodged to the side, dodging the attack. As expected of the vice hierarch. However, even if you can hide for a while, can you hide forever? Yixian tightened his grip on the scarlet flame sword. When the other side dodged, he attacked again. Burst of killing intent. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. Hoo! This golden flame dragon roared as it flew out. Want to hit me? Not so easy. Vice leader Shi Tiancheng harumphed coldly in his heart. He suddenly took out something from his spatial ring and blocked in front of him. It was a black scorpion statue. Seeing this, Yixian's heart trembled. The thing in the vice leader's hand was a small statue of the Cthulhuism god. Hoo! The golden flame dragon attacked, but the Cthulhuism god statue suddenly emitted a black light, splitting the golden flame dragon into 2. It really has this effect. Yixian frowned. Although the other side had this life-saving divine artifact, Yixian did not believe that this thing could be used indefinitely. Let's see how many times you can block. Yixian attacked again. Unparalleled flame dragon slash. Cold frost ghost hand. Eye of destruction. Splitting mountain foot. Yixian's attacks did not follow any pattern. Vice leader Shi Tiancheng was temporarily suppressed, and he kept using the Cthulhuism god statue to block. His expression was ugly. Gotcha! After Shi Tiancheng used the Cthulhuism god statue to block 7 attacks, cracks finally appeared on the statue. Haha, let's see how many times you can use it. The sharp-eyed Yixian saw this change and immediately laughed out loud. Not good. Run. Shi Tianqing's face was ashen, and he retreated into the evil god palace. He could not block Yi Xian's attacks. If the Cthulhuism god statue in his hand cracked, it would be his death. Fortunately, there was still a Cthulhuism god statue in the evil god palace. He could use that statue to kill Yi Xian. However, Yi Xian's eye of perception covered a large area. The moment he stepped into the evil god palace, he saw the several meters tall Cthulhuism god statue. What the F***ck, there's a Cthulhuism god statue inside. Yi Xian was shocked. He quickly ordered Luoluo, old tree Wei Zhentian, destroy that Cthulhuism god statue inside. No problem. Old tree Luoluo and Wei Zhentian were sent into the planting space and summoned out again. Not good. Shi Tianqing's eyes widened. Although he did not turn around, his spiritual sense had already found Luoluo and the others. If that Cthulhuism god statue was destroyed, he was dead for sure. Shijuin, why aren't you back yet? Shi Tianqing cursed in his heart. Shijuin was his son, and also the evil god cult's leader. However, Shijuin had gone to the altar on the right and had not returned. While Shi Tianqing was lost in thought, Yi Xian seized the opportunity to attack. In less than 2 seconds, Luoluo sent a message. Young master, it's done. Luoluo shouted. Her voice entered Yi Xian and Shi Tianqing's ears, causing the latter's body to tremble. Chapter 13:15. Nine, if you don't come back soon, father is going to die. Shi Tianqing prayed in his heart. He estimated that the fiend god statue in his hand could only withstand 3 more attacks. After 3 attacks, he would be heavily injured and killed by Yi Xian. Yi Xian seemed to have noticed something and increased the speed of his attacks. Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. Eye of Destruction. The fiend god statue blocked 2 more attacks for Shi Tianqing. At this time, the fiend god statue was covered in cracks. 1 more attack and it would be useless. At this time, a whistling sound broke through the air. Xiao, Wei Zhentian, who had completed his mission, suddenly pierced the fiend god statue in Shi Tianqing's hand. Gotcha! The fiend god statue was pierced through, losing its effect. Not good. Shi Tianqing was dumbstruck as he watched Yi Xian's long sword slash down, erupt with killing intent. Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. Eye of Destruction. This time Shi Tianqing was powerless to resist and was directly sliced to death by the Eye of Destruction. Nine will avenge me. Shi Tianqing left behind a single sentence before collapsing to the ground. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. The system notified. At the same time, the Feast of Slaughter's killing intent increased again, but it was no longer useful to Yi Xian. Who is Nine? Yi Xian frowned, but he didn't think too much about it and forgot about it in the blink of an eye. Ding! Chain of Random Mission 3rd round completed. Ding! Scorching Hell and Eye of Control merged. Ding! Host learned Eye of Heart. The 3 consecutive system notifications made the corners of Yi Xian's lips curl up slightly. New skill Eye of Heart. This Eye of Heart was a soul attack. It combined the Eye of Illusion, Eye of Burning, and Eye of Control into one, greatly increasing its effect. But he didn't know how effective it was. In that instant, Yi Xian turned his head, looking at the several fiend god apostles who thought they had hidden well. Eye of Heart. Ding! Control failed. The system notified. Forget it. This evil god is the ancestor of the Scorpion Men. He might have reached the imperishable realm. It's not that simple. Yi Xian shook his head. The evil god apostle that was targeted by Yi Xian shuddered, and immediately turned tail to run. Yi Xian was too lazy to chase after him. He directly devoured the items in the Cthulhuism Society's vice leader's Qian Kuan ring. Ding! The host has reached the peak of the fulfillment realm. If you wish to break through, you will need 2,000 shattering pills. Yi Xian still had 2,000 shattering pills because he had already expected this. He immediately chose to break through. Ding! The host has made a breakthrough. The host is now at the first stage of the fragmentation realm. Ding! Wei Zhentian has broken through. He is currently at the first stage of the fragmentation stage. Ding! The Devil Tree Battle Soldier has broken through. It is currently at the first stage of the fragmentation realm. Ding! Luoluo has broken through. She is currently at the first stage of the fragmentation stage. 4 consecutive system notifications rang. Yixian's current mood could no longer be described with words. After the system notification rang, Yixian felt one of his natal palaces suddenly shatter. Then his natal true qi overflowed and merged with his muscles, bones, skin, and flesh. His physique skyrocketed by at least 3 times. So satisfying. Breaking through a major realm and increasing my strength is so satisfying. Yixian couldn't help but let out a comfortable moan. The fragmentation realm, he finally reached the fragmentation realm. Then, the next major realm would be the nirvana realm. Ha ha ha, this old man feels like he's dreaming. I've only been away for a short while, and I've already broken through to the fragmentation realm. If we were in the primitive world of the wood spirit, I probably wouldn't be able to do it even if I had another 3,000 years. The old tree transformed into a bald old man and said excitedly, "Old tree, don't worry. After I break through, the life energy in my blood will skyrocket. You will probably break through again in a day or 2, Yixian said with a smile. That's for the best, the old tree said with a grin. In addition, the biggest gain from this extermination of the Cthulhuism society was Luo Luo. At this time, the number of faith crystals in Luo Luo's interspatial ring was as high as 1 million. These were enough to support her breakthrough to the 3rd or even 4th stage of the fragmentation realm, so Yixian didn't have to worry about her. Young master, this seems to be a vice leader. Should we wait for their leader here? Luo Luo suddenly asked. The leader of the Cthulhuism society should have obtained the inheritance of the Cthulhuism god by chance. That's why he has these faith crystals. He probably has a lot of good stuff on him. However, we don't know his whereabouts now, so old tree, you stay here and guard. I'll go to the altar on the right. If anything happens, I'll break through the void and come back immediately. Yixian said to old tree. No problem. I'll inform you as soon as there's a situation. Old tree nodded. He and Yixian could communicate through space. It wouldn't be a problem even if they were separated by a continent. All right. In that case, I'll go. Yixian nodded and then left the Cthulhuism palace. The Cthulhuism society had 2 altars. The first one was on the left and the one Yixian was going to was on the right. After breaking through to the fragmentation realm, his strength had increased by at least 5 times. His shadow steps also became faster and faster. He estimated that he could reach the altar on the right in an hour. Luo Luo stayed in the planting space and refined the faith crystals. Yixian estimated that she could break through again in 1 or 2 days. Soon Yixian arrived at the second Cthulhuism god altar. At this time, this Cthulhuism god altar was already built. A large number of Cthulhuism god apostles were kneeling around the altar. They were all wearing a strange energy cloak. On the altar, there was a lot of blood surging up and gathering toward the Cthulhuism god statue. There are so many 9th stage Cthulhuism god apostles. It seems that they all broke through by worshipping the Cthulhuism god. Yixian's eyes sharpened. These Cthulhuism god apostles were all scorpion men. They were the descendants of the Cthulhuism god to begin with. It was very easy for them to become loyal followers. The more loyal one's faith was, the greater the increase in their cultivation. That was why many of them broke through to the 9th stage of the fulfillment realm. There were at least 100 of them. Yixian scanned them with the eye of revelation and found that there were several first-stage fragmentation realm enforcers and 1 Cthulhuism god elder among the hundreds of people. However, he did not see anyone who seemed to be the cult leader. He's not here. Yixian frowned and looked carefully. There was indeed only a 2nd-stage fragmentation realm elder. It seemed that the cult leader of the Cthulhuism society was not here. Old tree, is there any movement from the Cthulhuism god palace? Yixian asked in his mind. No, nothing has happened in the past hour or so. Old tree replied. The cult leader of the Cthulhuism society was not at the right altar, nor was he at the Cthulhuism god palace. Could it be that he went to the left altar? Yixian thought for a moment and then rushed out. Chapter 13:16. As Yixian had already activated the killing feast once before, he could not activate it this time. However, it did not matter as he had already broken through to the first stage of the fragmentation realm. His current strength was not something the Cthulhuism society in the Desert of Despair could deal with. Luo Luo, Wei Zhentian, deal with those Cthulhuism apostles. Don't let any of them escape. Yixian said to Luo Luo and Wei Zhentian. Okay. Luo Luo replied softly and turned into a flash of light. With her cultivation level, she could use Fox Demon Flash limitlessly. Wherever she passed, heads would fly and blood would splatter into the sky. As for Wei Zhentian, he also turned into a green heavenly dragon. He could crush a person's head with one claw and kill 4 or 5 people with one whip. As for Yixian, he rushed directly to the Cthulhuism altar. Killing intent explosion. Peerless flame dragon slash. Yixian raised his hand and swung his sword. The golden flame dragon whizzed out and headed straight for the Cthulhuism statue. Stop him! The Cthulhuism Society elder guarding the Cthulhuism altar shouted angrily. The other 3 Cthulhuism Society guardians heard him and rushed over. However, their attacks were unable to defeat the golden flame dragon. We can't let you touch the Cthulhuism statue. The Cthulhuism Society elder blocked in front of the Cthulhuism god statue and threw a punch. Rumble! The fist shadow and the golden flame dragon collided and dissipated almost at the same time. 1 was at the second stage of the fragmentation realm and 3 were at the first stage of the fragmentation realm. The 4 of them only managed to disperse one of Yixian's attacks. It was enough to show how powerful Yixian's attacks were. Humph, I was afraid of my doppelganger dying before. Now that I've broken through to the fragmentation realm, why should I be afraid of you? Yixian sneered and split himself. Ice and Fire Dual Dragon Sword Array. Dual Dragon Roar. This attack was twice as powerful as the Peerless Flame Dragon Slash. Even the Cthulhuism Society elder at the second stage of the fragmentation realm could not block it, let alone a first stage guardian. However, the Cthulhuism god statue was already built. The Cthulhuism Society elder directly used the Cthulhuism god's will on the statue. Huff huff. This Cthulhuism Society elder stood in front of the Cthulhu statue. The energy he used had split the twin dragon roar into 2, but the Cthulhu statue was not damaged at all. So what if you're using the will of the evil god? Let's see how you block this move. Yixian's eyes flashed, and 2 twin dragon sword bells suddenly appeared. Dual dragon roar of ice and fire. Boom! Just now, the power of the dual dragon roar was very fierce, but it was a straight line attack. Now this dual dragon roar of ice and fire was a powerful group attack skill. Yixian didn't believe that the other party could block an all-round sound wave attack. As the dragon's roar reverberated, the 3 Cthulhuism cult protectors, who were at the first stage of the fragmentation realm, were sent flying backwards, coughing up blood. Fortunately, that Cthulhuism cult elder was able to use the will of the Cthulhuism cult to block the attack. However, he had used the will of the heretic god statue, which meant that the statue's will had been weakened. Gotcha! When the dragon roar hit the evil god statue, a crisp sound was heard. This was the sound of the evil god statue shattering. Oh no! The Cthulhuism cult elder's expression changed drastically. Although Yixian was only at the first stage of the fragmentation realm, he could accurately sense that Yixian's strength wasn't something that he could deal with. While he was still in shock, another 3 crisp sounds were heard from the side. He glanced around and saw that the 3 Cthulhuism cult protectors had been beheaded by Yixian. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. After 3 consecutive system notifications, Yixian's killing intent had increased by a notch. The Cthulhuism cult elder's expression was gloomy. He knew that he only had one last option left. If he didn't kill Yixian, all of them would die. Evil God, grant me power. At this moment, the Cthulhuism cult elder suddenly roared. In the next moment, he channeled all the will of the evil god from the evil god statue onto himself. Die! The Cthulhuism cult elder's expression was ferocious as he threw a punch at Yixian with all his might. This attack was as fast as lightning and extremely powerful. Even if it hit a third stage of the fragmentation realm, it would probably be able to kill him. Yixian was only a first stage of the fragmentation realm. He definitely wouldn't be able to block this attack. However, only a fool would receive this attack. Going all out, huh? Humph! Yixian sneered. He turned into a black ray of light and dodged this attack. Whoosh! Whoosh! The shadow of the fist whizzed past. It didn't hit Yixian, but it killed more than 10 Cthulhuism cult apostles. Seeing this, the Cthulhuism cult elder knew that he was dead meat. Now that he had used up all the will of the evil god, how could he block Yixian? Tell me the location of the Cthulhuism cult leader, and I'll spare your life, Yixian said as he dashed in front of the Cthulhuism cult elder. Cult leader? The Cthulhuism cult elder was stunned. Yixian actually dared to find trouble with the Cthulhuism cult leader. He was really courting death. However, he didn't know. Bastard, even if I die, I'll drag you down with me. The Cthulhuism cult elder pounced toward Yixian with a ferocious expression. Shameless boasting. Yixian shook his head helplessly and flung the sword in his hand. Swish. The Cthulhuism cult elder's head and half of his scorpion tail flew into the air. Immediately, Yixian heard a series of system notifications. Ding! Host's killing intent has increased. Now that the expert guarding the Cthulhuism cult altar had been killed by Yixian, the altar was considered to be useless. Luo Luo Wei Zhentian leave some people behind, Yixian said in his mind. He still wanted to find the Cthulhuism cult leader. Perhaps someone would know where the Cthulhuism cult leader was. Understood. Luo Luo nodded. After a while, there were only 30 Cthulhuism cult apostles left. They were all caught together. If they made any move, they would be killed instantly. Let me ask you, where's your cult leader? Yixian asked directly after he finished collecting the spoils. Cult leader. Cult leader came half a day ago. After absorbing some of the Cthulhuism cult leader's will, he left. One of the Cthulhuism cult apostles said. Sure enough, there are still some who are afraid of death. Yixian nodded in satisfaction. Previously, Luo Luo said that the Cthulhuism cult leader's will was a strand of remnant consciousness of the Cthulhuism cult leader. However, it seemed that the Cthulhuism cult leader's will on the Cthulhuism cult leader's statue was just a trace of suppression. There was no remnant consciousness at all. After all, the Cthulhuism cult leader's realm was the same as theirs. How could a remnant consciousness manage this place? There were probably countless Cthulhuism cult leaders in the glazed light sacred ground. Even if the cult leader of the Cthulhuism cult leader was a Nirvana realm martial artist, he was probably just an ant in the eyes of the Cthulhuism cult leader. Why did your cult leader absorb the Cthulhuism cult leader's will? Yixian asked again. Cult leader seems to have obtained the Cthulhuism cult leader's inheritance. He absorbed the Cthulhuism cult leader's will to cultivate. Someone answered. Then did your Cthulhuism cult leader show himself? Chapter 13:17. Then has your evil god ever appeared? Once those words were spoken, everyone shook their heads. Since the evil god had never appeared, they didn't know if the evil god had truly obtained the inheritance. Perhaps he had only obtained a method to spread the evil god religion, such as how to forge the evil god altar and evil god statue. Alright, this is the last question. Whoever can answer it will live. Yixian swept his gaze over the 30 people and said, I only need the whereabouts of your evil god religion leader. Who knows? Even the elders might not know the whereabouts of the evil god religion leader. They were merely evil god apostles, how could they know? Fine, I'll send you on your way. Yixian didn't intend to ask any more questions. He directly used his 10,000 mammoth force to break the necks of these evil god apostles. Kacha! 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 With crisp sounds, these people's corpses fell to the ground lifeless. Young master, the evil god religion leader might be hiding to cultivate, or he might be on his way back to the evil god palace. What should we do? Luo Luo asked. I'll return to the altar on the left to take a look. Yixian directly tore through the void and returned to the evil god altar that was destroyed by the golden armored man. However, it was still in a dilapidated state, without a trace of life. Oh right, the chain of random missions didn't ask me to kill the evil god religion leader. Seems like they calculated that I won't be able to encounter him. At this time, Yixian suddenly thought of this problem. In the chain of random missions, the first part was to destroy the evil god statue outside the evil god palace. The second part was to kill less than 100 evil god apostles, and the third part was to kill the evil god religion vice leader. Forget it. Yixian didn't think too much about it, and directly dismantled the evil god altar on the right. After all, this was a large amount of ores. Under the evil god altar there were thousands of dried corpses. Their blood had been drawn onto the evil god altar to activate the evil god statue. After destroying the evil god altar, Yixian returned to the evil god palace. I'll wait here for a day and see if the Cthulhuism Society leader returns. Yixian thought in his heart that he would stay in the evil god palace. He reckoned that the Cthulhuism Society leader might have gone to another place and might return soon. Unfortunately, he guessed wrong. One day later. Forget it, this Cthulhuism Society's leader is not coming back. I better leave the Desert of Despair and investigate the Xianming duodemons. In the evil god palace, Yixian, who was sitting cross-legged, suddenly stood up. At this moment, roughly 2 days had passed since the Golden Armored Man took the Xianming duodemons away. The Golden Armored Man was from the Fox Charm clan, so it might be easier to investigate him. Luo Luo, old tree, Wei Zhentian, let's go. After Yixian said this in his mind, he left the evil god palace and headed north. There were many tribes in the Desert of Despair, but the strongest of them was at the 9th level of the Fulfillment Realm at best. Yixian did not dare to be interested in them. With the Shadow Steps, Yixian estimated that he would be able to leave the Desert of Despair in a day's time. Another day passed, and Yixian finally left the Desert of Despair. Near the Desert of Despair's exit was a yellow sand city. Hence Yixian wanted to go there to gather information. At the same time, when he was leaving the Desert of Despair, the evil god palace, which had been abandoned, welcomed its new master. This new owner was a long-haired young man called Shijuin, the evil god cult's leader. The evil god cult's vice leader Shi Tiancheng was from the Scorpion tribe, and Shijuin was Shi Tiancheng's son, so naturally, he was also from the Scorpion tribe. However, Shijuin did not have the black scorpion tail unique to the Scorpion tribe on his back, because he had cut it off himself. At this time he was no different from a human. What happened? Shijuin was shocked when he returned. Looking at the dilapidated evil god palace, he rushed inside. There was no one inside the evil god palace, but there were many bloodstains. At the same time, he found a bloodstain that was similar to his bloodline. Not good. Shijuin's face tightened subconsciously. At this time, a person rushed into the evil god palace. It was an apostle wearing the evil god cult's robes. Leader, you're finally back. When the evil god apostle saw Shijuin, he ran over in a hurry. What happened? Shijuin's eyes widened as he asked. No, I don't know. Previously there was a human who brought a fox, a tree, and a sword over. Not only did they kill a few protectors and elders, but even the vice sect master died at their hands. The evil god apostle shook his head vehemently. Human, fox race member, tree, sword? Shijuin was stupefied. In the next moment, his right hand pierced into the evil god apostle's head. Soul-searching art. A light flickered in Shijuin's eyes. Using a secret technique, he began to search the evil god apostle's memories. The evil god apostle's body stiffened. He was one of the survivors of the great battle that day. Therefore, after Shijuin searched his memories for the past 3 days, he understood what had happened. Who is it? When Shijuin found out that his father had died in Yixian's hands, he was so enraged that a surge of true qi rushed out from his body. Pung! The evil god apostle's head suddenly exploded. Blood and flesh splattered everywhere. Shijuin had obtained the evil god apostle's inheritance, but before he could spread the news of the evil god cult, he had met with a calamity. Moreover, he didn't know who killed his father, only his face. Oh right, fox race member, outside the Desert of Despair, there is a Hu Mei family. Shijuin suddenly thought of this matter. Through this evil god apostle's memories he saw Luoluo. Therefore, he had a feeling that Luoluo was a member of that Hu Mei family. Since that was the case, he decided to make a trip to that Hu Mei family. On the other side, Yixian had already left the Desert of Despair, and arrived at Wind Sand City shortly after. This time he was here to gather information. However, before he could enter the city, a person walked up to him. Mister, you look unfamiliar to me. This should be your first time in Wind Sand City, right? I have lived here for many years. If you need anything, I can show you the way. The person walking up to him was a human, but Yixian saw through his disguise. Demonic snake tribe? Yixian narrowed his eyes, asking directly, do you know if there are any fox race members in Wind Sand City? Fox race members? The demonic snake tribe's cultivator raised his eyebrows, saying, "There are fox race members in Wind Sand City, but there aren't many of them. If Mr. is looking for them, you can head to the west, there is a Hume family there." Hearing this, Yixian's eyes couldn't help but shoot out 2 rays of light. Chapter 13:18. Have you seen these 3 people before? As Yixian spoke, he took out 3 portraits from his interspatial ring. 2 of the portraits were of the Xianming duo, while the third one was drawn by Yixian based on his memory. It was the golden-armored man who took the Xianming duo away. I don't know these 2, but this man looks familiar. Let me think. The Phantom Snake Clan martial practitioner frowned and thought for a while. After a while, his eyes suddenly lit up and he said, "I remember now. This man looks like young Master Hu." Who is young Master Hu? Yixian could not help but ask. Young Master Hu is the son-in-law of Winds and City's city lord. He's from the Phantom Fox clan that I mentioned earlier. However, he married the city lord's daughter last year. The Phantom Snake Clan martial practitioner replied. The golden-armored man who took the Xianming duo away looks very similar to young Master Hu. Moreover, young Master Hu is from the Fox clan. Perhaps they are related by blood. As Yixian thought to himself, he continued to ask, "Then where can I find young Master Hu?" Oh, this young Master Hu is promiscuous by nature. After he was engaged to the city lord's daughter, he continued to fool around outside. I think he should be enjoying himself in the great desert amorous feelings right now. The demonic Snake Clan martial artist pointed at Sandstorm City and said, "Oh, the location of the great desert. As long as you follow this city gate road, you will arrive at the center of the city. There are all kinds of girls there. The scorpion race, the tiger race, the giant elephant race, the human race, the fox race, and the demonic snake clan. There are a total of 13 races of girls there." "All right, I understand." Yixian nodded and then took out 10 fragmentation pills from his devouring space and threw them to the martial practitioner. Fragmentation pills? Seeing this, the 9th-level Fulfillment Realm martial practitioner from the Phantom Snake Clan was shocked. He was here specifically to guide people. These 10 fragmentation pills were equivalent to at least a year's worth of income. The surrounding people all looked at him enviously. At this time, Yixian had already entered Winds City. After entering the city, he followed the martial practitioner's guidance and arrived at the Great Desert amorous feelings. Even if no one said it, Yixian would understand it at a glance. Which decent industry would have a few beautiful girls wearing sexy clothes standing at the entrance? "Young Master, you're so handsome. Do you want to come in and play?" "Young Master, you've broken through to the void-breaking realm at such a young age, so your physique must be very strong. Do you want to fight for 300 rounds? Young Master, come in and play. We won't charge you." When the ladies saw Yixian stop outside the Grand Desert amorous ground, they immediately came forward to greet him. Forget about the Catwoman Fox race women and human race women, there was still the ferocious tiger race, raging bull race, and others. What the F***ck was this? Yixian, who was not in the mood for romance in the desert, was dragged in by a cat girl and a fox girl. However, before he arrived, he used his eye of perception to scan the area and discovered that there were many crouching tigers and hidden dragons in this desert. Not to mention the hundreds of private rooms, there were more than 20 fragmentation realm martial artists wandering outside alone, and 3 of them were at the 2nd level of the fragmentation realm. In addition to doing that kind of thing in the desert, there was also a place to enjoy singing and dancing. Therefore, there were many people drinking and chatting outside. Yixian's lips curled slightly. It seemed that it was time for him to strike it rich. "Take me to the 3rd floor." Yixian said to a charming fox girl beside him. "The 3rd floor?" The fox girl at the 8th level of the fulfillment realm was shocked. She shook her head and said, "Young Master Hu has booked the entire 3rd floor. Do you know young Master Hu?" "Young Master Hu?" Hearing this, Yixian's eyes lit up. It seemed that he had found the right place. Almost all of these fragmentation realm martial artists were gathered on the 3rd floor. It seemed that he had found the right place. "Yes, I am young Master Hu's friend." Yixian nodded. At the same time, his eyes flashed. Ding! Control successful. This fox girl was immediately controlled by Yixian's Eye of Mind. The effect of the new skill Eye of Mind was much stronger than the Eye of Control. Moreover, it consumed less eye power. It was truly a divine skill. "Yes, I will take you up now." The fox girl nodded. Then she directly led Yixian upstairs. Seeing this, the surrounding women from various races all revealed looks of envy. Young master who was the future city lord of Wind Sand City. Those who could establish a relationship with young master who were not ordinary people. The third floor of the amorous scene in the desert was actually protected by a formation. However, Yixian not only had the eye of perception, but also his spiritual sense and killer instinct. On the third floor of the amorous scene in the desert, a group of singers and dancers were playing and dancing. At the same time, on the side of the street, a few young men were drinking and having fun. Each of them was accompanied by 2 naked women. Soon, the fox girl led Yixian to the third floor. "What are you doing here?" A questioning voice sounded. Yixian looked over and saw a young woman guarding the entrance of the formation. "Manager, he is young master whose friend," the fox girl replied. "Why go through so much trouble?" Yixian's eyes flickered. Then the young woman was controlled by Yixian. How could a mere first tier of the fragmentation realm block his eye of perception? "Greetings, master," the young woman said. She took off the interspatial ring in her hand and handed it to Yixian. Yixian took the interspatial ring and looked inside. There were many things inside. There were more than 2,000 fragmentation pills. "Enough talk. Take me in," Yixian continued. "Yes." The manager of the amorous scene in the desert nodded. Then he used a special method to open the formation. Immediately, singing voices